The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
A resident of the Florida retirement community, The Villages, was arrested recently after he allegedly stockpiled nearly $2,000 worth of erectile dysfunction drugs to sell, continuing the long tradition of drug dealers yelling, "Say hello to my little friend." A woman in Chicago recently went skydiving at the age of 104. And if you're wondering what was up with her parachute, those were her breasts.
Peter, I'm going to need you to take Stewie to the bowling alley for a party.
Hey, Meg, I'm going to need you to take Stewie to the bowling alley for a party. I just learned the word delegate.
No skin off my sack. I love the bowling alley.
I'm coming too. They got a new claw machine with a bra in it.
We sure raised a few fine delegates, huh?
Peter, I don't think you learned the word delegate.
I will not be delegated in my own house.
Ladies and gentlemen,
All right. Let me tell you something, Josh. Anytime Meg from Family Guy says no skin off my sack, I'm laughing.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was from the new one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
That got me.
I like that episode.
One more to go, folks. Welcome to our final over here on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Going to be a busy Friday. Fridays are always mental come football season. I'll tell you all about that later.
It's too much for one day, don't you think?
It is. It's ridiculous. We've tried to fix it, and it can't be fixed, and it has me frustrated. But what can you do? At this point, we're screwed. First things first, though, I'll tell you all about, everything we got going on in a minute. But first, I got to ask Dana, how's your skull?
Feels pretty good.
I thought when you first walked in today, I thought you were dressed up for Halloween already as a mummy.
I'm still wearing what do you call this, gauze or some type of cloth that goes around the back over where the sutures are. They told me to leave it on for a day, or if it falls off, whenever it falls off.
Well, it's
basically
a big old bandage.
Yeah, you look like a dork.
Do I? Yeah, I know I do.
Yeah. You went from bandana to bandage. It's kind of like a bandaged bandana.
And now I'm just a bandouche.
If you don't know what we're talking about, yesterday Dana went down a dark alley. There was a single red door at the end of the alley where you read a password to enter, and he went there in order to receive a top-secret hair restoration procedure. It's all very shady and under the table and everything, but he wants to get new hairs cruising out the top of his melon, so he had to go through this all-day procedure yesterday. We talked about it once or twice. What time did you walk in, and what time did they finally kick your ass out of there?
I got there about 7 a.m. I left about 6:30.
Oh, my gosh. That's a long day.
Yeah, wow.
Let me ask you something. It looks like you have a hairline already.
Yeah. So
Am I crazy? Or
Yeah, so they put the follicles there where the hairline's going to grow, and then it's all can start growing backwards now.
So none of that in the front there was there yesterday morning before you went?
No.
Well, I'm surprised it was that quick.
Yeah, well, there's no real hair there yet. It's just kind of like the tips of the follicles. They'll start growing out.
But yeah, you can see that you have a defined hairline where you didn't yesterday.
That's cool.
This is going to be really interesting. Can we get a picture of what he looks like right now up on our website? Because you look like a crazy person.
I know I do.
You look ridiculous.
Especially when you're going to, I'm glad I didn't have to stop anywhere, to get gas or something to this morning. So all of a sudden, this guy pops out of his car at a gas station at 3:30 in the morning with this on my head.
You kind of look like you should be playing on an upside-down Home Depot bucket outside a Target Center.
You know what? The different hair follicles gives me the chills every time I look at you because I can't imagine every one of my hair follicles being messed with. It's just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Was it painful?
No, I mean they gave you the what do you call that?
Anesthesia?
Yeah, not anesthesia, but the
like a numbing
thing. Yeah, the numbing shots and stuff.
You talking about what did you say, Josh? Novocaine.
Novocaine, yeah, there you go.
Okay, they loaded you with Novocaine.
They knocked the head up with all the Novocaine, and if I started to feel anything, I just said something, and they would just toss more in there. But
are you on dope right now?
No, they gave me a small dose of. What's it called?
Valium?
Valium in the morning, and that was it. And other than that, I just sat there and watched Netflix all day.
Let me ask you something. Was it 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. You're doing this?
Yeah.
Is it the same person plucking each one of those out and putting them in, or do they have a whole team?
They had a doctor, and then they had a team of 4 others that were in the room, kind of all helping out. So it's kind of all hands on deck.
Man, you stayed awake the whole time?
Pretty much, yeah, because it was tough to fall asleep because you got people up there with sharp objects poking around.
God dang.
And I'm one of those people. If I fall asleep somewhere like on an airplane, I jolt myself awake. And that's bad news if they're up there and all of a sudden you're just like,
and they like impale you with whatever those instruments there that they're using.
Exactly.
It's
How
really
many people
interesting.
have died in the chair?
Oh!
They didn't tell me that information, surprisingly.
They didn't bring that up?
They always keep that a secret. Yeah, you look, to me, Josh, take a look at Dana right now. He kind of looks like, remember when we were kids, when you were watching a cartoon, if they ever wanted to express to you, if they ever wanted to show you an example of a character that was injured, they always wrapped a bandage around their forehead, right?
All you need are little cartoon stars spinning around and some Tweety birds.
You look like the classic cartoon injured character because they always wrapped it, no matter what happened to the character, in a fire, in a car wreck, fell off the top of a building, right? They always wrapped a single white bandage around their forehead.
Yeah, have we mentioned yet you look stupid with that thing on? And also, did you sleep with it? You must have, right?
I had to sleep with it on.
You can tell, because it's all out of whack.
Yeah, I know.
You should look in a mirror and fix that thing.
I looked, but I was just like, whatever.
But at this
You
point,
can take it off soon, right?
At this point, you remember who you are and where you are and everything. You're fine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you already dump your girlfriend and look for a younger one?
No, I told her it's coming.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
If you get a brand new hairdo, there's no reason to remain in your current relationship.
She did pick me up, though. That was very nice.
Well, sure. She's good for a ride now and again. And then by that, I mean a car ride. Don't get cute. But they didn't give you any pills, huh?
No, not really.
Pain pills.
Well, I thought they gave you
Valium. It was very low dose Valium. It was right at the day. I think I kind of was in La La Land for about a half an hour. It kind of wore off pretty quick.
What I meant was, for the next, handful of days to keep the pain.
Did they tell you to take Tylenol or
they did give me some pain pills, but it's nothing too strong or anything. They called it like a, what they call it? I can't remember.
You're having trouble with drug names. That's a side effect of the procedure so far.
You do seem a little drugged up.
Yeah, you do seem high.
Yeah. Well, it was just a crazy whirlwind 24 hours is really what it was. It was just kind of...
Yeah, but you still seem kind of high.
Of the loop, for sure.
Yeah, you seem a little different.
Well, I also haven't slept much in the last 24 hours, too.
Yeah, I could tell.
Josh, you'll remember this, I'm sure. So they did give you some kind of dope to dummy down the pain if you need it for the next handful of days. Josh, you probably remember there were a couple of people who have come and gone in this building. If anyone else in the building was sick or had any kind of a condition to where they were taking medication, there were these 2 people in the building who would always approach these sick people or whoever was on meds, and they'd say, hey, if you have any of that medication left over, I'll take it.
That is a bold move.
What's bold about that? Bold is a weird choice of words. What do you mean bold?
I would never ask anybody for their prescription medication. Like, that's just... I'd be so terrified of the reaction.
Oh. The reaction of the person that you ask, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the reaction from you taking the pills.
No. Oh, gosh. If somebody asked me that and, if it wasn't somebody like my dad, I would make them feel awful.
You remember these people, Josh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a couple that would do it as a joke, but there was a couple that I think, even though they were doing it as a joke, they would take that from you if you offered it up.
Yeah, Hey, so you're on, whatever the drug might be.
Or even your pet's on dog Valium.
Oh, God.
Got any of that left?
Yeah, Oh, my God. Hey, if you don't use up all your meds, come see me, they would say.
Yeah, here's my strep throat medication. Here you go.
Seriously, that's what it was. Yeah, and
I got to say, so I've never, as you guys know, I've never taken a drug recreationally. There's bad examples in my family, and that kind of scared me away from it. So... And when I went, the couple times I've had it, like at the dentist or orthodontist, I guess specifically, they use the laughing gas. I wanted to turn it down, and I did it first, and they're like, that's a mistake. You're going to want to do it. It's pretty bad. So I did, and I fell in love. right? So I almost want to make dentist appointments just to go do something like that. And then the other time was LASIK. They gave you a Valium or whatever the pill is. And it was the same thing. I didn't want to take it. And they're like, you really should take it. And that stuff, I didn't care at all. They could have plucked my eyes out. I didn't give a damn.
Yeah. You could do anything on that drug. Absolutely anything.
It was different with the colonoscopy. I was just kind of in and out. Like I don't remember feeling anything. Like I didn't have like a euphoric feeling. It was more like I was just in and out and I didn't know what was going on.
You're right.
Which was different from not caring what's going on.
Exactly, yeah. The colonoscopy dope, whatever that was, you just kind of nicely and very quickly faded off to sleep. And when you come back, you don't feel you don't feel all that different, just like you came to from a nap.
Yeah, exactly.
But hell yes, laughing gas. My damn, there's not a lot of sensations quite as much fun and as pleasurable as, I think I've only done it once or twice.
Twice for me.
So I should say that first time you get a hit of laughing gas at the dentist's office, my damn, is that a riot.
I jokingly asked at my last dentist appointment, if they have it for people who are fearful of, that there's some people that are scared of going to the dentist.
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, oh yeah, if you're interested, we can give that. And there's a split second. It doesn't bother me going to the dentist where I thought, why not? When do I have this opportunity?
Yeah.
I don't have these types of vices, but there I thought, boy, this is tempting.
I feel for anybody who got hooked on the stuff and it ruined their life. I don't know. I've never heard any firsthand stories of laughing gas ruining anyone's life.
I can tell you one.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, not good.
But I'll tell you this: like Wapple was saying, when they dosed me with that laughing gas, this is when they kicked my wisdom teeth loose for me back when I was.
That was mine too.
Yeah, when I was in high school, they dumped a bunch of that laughing gas on me. And like Wapple was saying, I was having so much fun, they almost had to throw me out. I remember my dentist saying, you have to stop smiling, stop laughing. Because he's trying to get in there and punch those wisdom. I was just laughing my balls off, smiling ear to ear throughout the entire procedure. And I remember hearing the sound of my teeth being pulled and the
oh really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I mean, I don't know the inner workings of the mouth, but I could hear the stretching of the whatever holds your teeth. And you following where I'm going with this? Now, normally that would disturb somebody, but what was I thinking? As I'm hearing these horrible sounds of my.
I've never had laughing gas. I've had like some good stuff, but never laughing gas. When I got my wisdom teeth out, they put me like smooth out.
Same here. They just knocked me on my ass.
Did they really? I didn't even have that option.
You must have had them in a situation, a little different than Cubby and I.
I remember the orthodontist saying, here's the thing, if you don't take the laughing gas, the other part of it is you're going to fight me. He said, it's just going to be something you're going to do, so we need to kind of get you loopy.
I've heard stories of, some folks, if we're specifically talking about wisdom teeth, some folks, you just give them a little laughing gas, they pop the tooth, but for maybe you and Dana and Ashley, you had them set in, so deep that they had to carve you up a little deeper than me and Cubby. Is that what happened?
I had to get all four removed, but I have, like, in my medical record, I have a hard time, like, when they do knock me out, they have to give me a little bit extra. I have, like, a hard time, my body, like, calming down.
Oh, yeah, I know somebody who's come to in the middle of a surgical procedure.
My wife does almost every time.
They can put it in her chart. Make sure they put it in her chart.
She has it in there now, but even so, yeah, it's weird. I wonder what that is.
I think it's just like high anxiety, so it fights it back. But when
she's too dumb to get anxious. Like she doesn't understand the risks and fears of life. So it's not that. But
when I had an endoscopy, like where they shove the camera down your throat, I guess halfway through I woke up and started like taking it out.
Oh,
yeah.
They had I guess I don't remember it because I was on drugs. So the doctor started freaking out, I guess, and stabbed me with another needle.
Yeah, there's a handful of people out there who are resistant to anesthesia in that way. I know a lady who has a problem with that, and she woke smooth up in the middle of the doctors cutting her open and taking parts out of her.
Ooh,
They were removing parts of her insides, and she sat smooth up and said, "What's going on?"
Hey guys, how's it going?
That was really cool too. Anesthesia before I had my jaw surgery. That's what they gave me, to knock you out. And they gave me it, and probably like 4 minutes later, I started feeling it. And then they start wheeling me down to the operation room.
Oh, no, you masturbated, didn't you? You're having a good time in the wheelchair?
Yeah,
so fun.
And then you get pushed in. You're on the bed, so you're just laying down. And then I got pushed in, and I remember seeing all the doctors and surgeons, and they're in their gear. They have everything on.
Word.
They have their gloves up, and I'm just like, "What's up, everybody?" And then they're like, "What's your name?" And I said, "Ant." And I was out.
Yep.
Yeah, you asked him where the keg was?
Yeah.
Where's the keg?
Yeah,
How much for a glass? That's good times. Well, Dana, you look ridiculous.
Thank you.
You really do.
I know.
Honestly.
I know.
But that'll change. Pretty soon, you're going to look like Lorenzo Lamas, if anybody understands that reference
I do
anymore.
not, but I hope it's a good thing.
We've got high hopes for you.
Thank you, guys.
That this doesn't turn out to be... Well, actually... I think yesterday we said we're rooting for disaster.
You did, yeah.
So
I forgot that, yeah.
There's no reason to change that stance, is there, Josh?
I totally forgot. Right, I was rooting for you this morning, stupidly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it goes bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you have to wear that bandage the rest of your life. Just like that. Don't fix it. And I want it to reek. People don't want to be anywhere near you.
Turns yellow.
There's just flies around your head.
Should we autograph your bandage?
Yes, please.
You should do that.
Well,
go to TCO there in Egan and have Justin Jefferson sign it or something like that.
I have to ask now.
Yeah.
I have to ask. Maybe someone asked this and I missed it. If all the workings are up on top of your head, why do you have a bandage around your... Oh, it's for the back of your head.
For the back, for the sutures.
For the helicopter pad.
Yeah.
So the top part where they put it in doesn't hurt as bad as...
No,
as
it's back here that hurts. There's 2 lines that they had to cut out. They lift the hair up, and then they make an incision.
Really? They cut it out? They don't just kind of pull them
There's
up?
2. One they cut and one they pull. And then the one that they cut, then they had to suture up. And
So you got sutures on the back of your head.
yeah.
Okay,
so
that's
what
what
this is for.
And you really don't have to go back at all.
I will have to go back to get the stitches out. That's the thing I didn't realize.
But I mean, no more procedure. You're all done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I've got their numbers. If I have questions, then they do want me to come in every couple months just to get an update. But it's not anything anytime soon.
Do they show you pictures of folks that have done it?
Oh yeah,
when
absolutely.
you're going through there.
Mm-hmm. They took a bunch of pictures of me, and they encouraged me on the first of the month to take pictures to kind of chart my progress as well. So
interesting.
So they took your head off.
Yes.
You had to wait for it there.
Yeah,
I did.
It was good.
I blew it.
That's the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you're affected. You're a little different right now.
It does seem like you're affected. Did you take a painkiller before you came into work
It's
this
not
morning?
a painkiller. It's just a low-grade
painkiller.
Aspirin.
Yeah, it's probably just extra
With
strong
codeine or whatever?
ibuprofen. I can imagine what ibuprofen you have.
Is it prescription?
No.
No?
They just handed me in a tiny little envelope.
So possibly prescription.
It's just something
Wait, is it-
crazy.
Is it
They give
crushed
you,
up into...
Oxy?
Yeah, is it crushed up and they give you a little straw and a mirror?
Do you snort
That'd
it?
be nuts.
Well, so that's what that rolled up $1 bill was for.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, wow. We got listeners texting in up and down now on their laughing gas stories, and some of them are telling horrible dental procedure stories and things like that about multiple root canals. And my God, going to the doctor, going to the dentist, yeah, it can be a nightmare.
That laughing gas stuff, I've heard that. I mean, that is something you don't want to mess with.
So you know someone who got really blasted and they couldn't stop with the stuff?
I don't. My wife had a very good friend. I mean, this is a dark story. She had a very good friend in high school. It made the news at the time. Who broke into a dentist's office for laughing gas.
Jesus
and unfortunately passed away because he didn't know, how much he used too much.
Yeah.
Right. And he passed away from it. You could probably still find that story online, but
Jesus Christ.
That's awful.
yeah, absolutely awful. So that obviously that freaked me out a little bit, and that was something I didn't know until I knew my wife, but I do think about that now. I'm assuming they know what they're doing at the dentist's office, unless you're going to one in the back of a van for a discount. most of them probably understand how much to give you.
Yeah, one of my first questions, I was curious when you said that, was like, where do you have a laughing gas hookup? But okay, gotta go to the dentist.
Somebody texted in and said the vape shop where they work at sells it.
Oh,
do they really?
No way.
Yeah, let us know. I mean, is that legal, or are we revealing information that maybe shouldn't be out there?
You know the what's that stuff called that I saw a group of hippies roll a tank into a beer party many years ago, and they were all taking hits off of it. What's that stuff?
Nitrous?
I think that's what it is.
Whippets?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Whippets.
Is it Whippets nitrous?
Yes.
Well, okay. Let me just tell the story. Maybe you've already given me the correct answer. I'm talking about a tank on wheels, like a dolly.
Yeah. I think
just
that's
like a large version.
I'm sure people will know. Like, yeah, I can't remember what they put Whippets in, but it was like little containers, the ones that I saw like at parties.
I thought Whippets were when you spray the little can up your nose. I don't know.
Isn't that kind of the same thing?
Still the same stuff.
It's the same thing?
Yep.
Here's the thing. I'd never seen anything like this in my friggin' life. I think I was 20 years old, and I'm hanging out, and I'd seen some things at that point in my life. Drugs, absolutely, all different kinds of drugs. But I'm sitting at a keg party at the University of Minnesota, and here comes a bunch of just hardcore hippies. The women were wearing, it was like it was 1968, and we were at a Janis Joplin music festival. The women were wearing see-through gowns.
Oh.
Bare feet, straight long hair down to their ass. It was
hippie
almost
vibes.
It was hippie vibes, for God's sake. We're talking full on. It was almost like it was Halloween, and they were portraying the Manson family or something, right? Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the women walk into this party, they're wearing see-through robes, areolas, pubic hair, everything on display. And they're like, hey, what's up, everybody? And they wheel in a tank. And I thought, what in the living hell? And then they put a little mask on their face, and somebody opens up that tank a little bit. And the guy and the gal they take a hit off of it. And I'm sitting there completely thrown as to what's happening. I thought this was a comedy routine. No.
I can't imagine that happening in front of me.
No, they were hitting off of this, and let's go ahead and call it nitrous. Fine, I don't know.
The all-knowing brother and sisterhood is saying it's the same thing as laughing gas, nitrous.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there was no...
News to me.
Okay, there was no laughing. I'll tell you this much. One of them took a hit and then just kind of, fades off into nowheres, kind of kicks back in their chair and, oh, wow, man, kind of a thing. The other falls unconscious onto the wood floors and starts flopping like a crappie. Oh.
Sounds fun.
Yes. Like I just reeled in a crappie and it's on the floor of the fish house and it's...
Oh, my gosh.
I'm looking at other people in the room saying, do we need to call the ambulance at the... And then the crappie person wakes up and they all went, yeah, man. All right.
Yeah, Whippets are not a glamorous drug. I've seen people do them, and it just looks gross.
That was an eye-opener for me.
So out of it.
An eye-opener.
All right, so the person that works at... I'm not giving the Jesus name if you're listening, just because I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't know if you can or not. Maybe not. But they are saying that it's you can buy it legally, and it's not called laughing gas. It's not medical grade.
Whew.
So whatever it is, I guess you can buy it.
That concerns me.
If people are right when they say that laughing gas and Whippets are the same, then yeah, you can just buy that stuff on Amazon. I'm pretty sure.
Oh really? Mm-hmm. Man, you can buy anything on Amazon. Yesterday, I was tempted by a biometric lock. I didn't go for it. I didn't even know that existed.
Oh, that sounds pretty sweet.
It did look pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think you should buy that.
So after
all right, fine. You talked me into it.
After these hippies with their see-through clothing kind of did their thing there in the middle of the room with that tank of gas, I felt so, I don't know what the word is. I just felt so simple when I just shuffled back over to the keg and filled up my solo cup. You know what I mean?
You're just unrefined.
Yeah, I felt very unrefined.
That's all it is.
I'm going to try to drink 11, 12 more of these before I get in that condition.
You're very corporate.
I suppose maybe that's it.
People are saying that nitrous oxide or whippets are also known as hippie crack.
Oh!
I've never heard that.
It's a mental weekend for jock sniffers here in town, by damn it is, and we're going to get into all this when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder jump on board in an hour and a half. The Twins play 2 playoff games this weekend.
Well.
Tomorrow and Sunday down there in Houston, Golden Gopher football plays the number 2 team in the country on national television tomorrow night
Oh, it has
at
to be on
home.
national TV.
It's at home. What?
It has to be on national TV.
Yeah, I hope it's not just a complete pummeling.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I would love to see a massive upset, but I'd be happy just if they didn't get completely. The Vikings play a ball club that I think we're all burned out on at this point, the world champion Kansas City Chiefs, at home on Sunday. We will, amongst discussing all of this, we'll talk to Vikings long snapper Andrew DePaola in about an hour and a half. We will get a listener on air for the Take It Wapple
Purple Pick'em
segment, where a listener will predict the scores of Sunday's ball game there at the new Metrodome, and Dad Fights Part 145, the trivia showdown between Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. Like Josh said a little earlier, it's too much.
Yeah, nobody should be expected to have that much going on in one show.
But we're friggin' stuck.
Nobody wants to listen to all that. That's too much.
Too much stuff to listen to.
They won't let us out of these agreements. We tried to back out on Andrew DePaola.
Nah, we would never back out on Andrew DePaola.
We tried to back out on Shaver and Ryder.
All right, that part has some truth to it.
But there's contractual obligations. It's industry stuff a lot of you people wouldn't understand.
And I'm praying. Let's give away that $100,000 for what, Wapple?
Yes.
Purple Pick'em.
That's right, Cactus Jack.
Bang, bang.
There he is.
Yeah, there's big money involved. We'd love to give that away. So let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll freshen up Dana's bandages and come back here on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
When you get married, I'm letting you know, no one gives but you. And when you get remarried, then people really don't, except you. No one needs to hear your backstory and speeches given. It's so boring. Have a cap, like no longer than a minute. No one cares about your love story. I know it's hard to hear.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
By damn. Yeah, let's get going. Let's start heading in that direction. But first, a couple of text messages have come in I wanted to throw your way. We were talking about Dana's new hairpiece. He went in for an operation yesterday. He's going to have a brand new hairdo within the coming days. Right now, he looks like a crazy person. He's got a bandage around his head.
To be fair, I look like more of a crazy person than normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You kind of look like an extra from a bad war movie.
Totally.
The guy that's just kind of sitting there in the mud. The main characters kind of walk past him while doing their dialogue.
Yes, and you're sweeping, what do they call the meals?
MREs?
You're sweeping an MRE into your mouth as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
yes.
you come out of the medical tent, you're like, thank God I survived, and then you step on a landmine. and everyone else in the foxholes laughing their asses off at you.
They're like, addition by subtraction is what we call that.
He's that one guy that only has the one crutch and he's leaning on it, smoking a cigarette.
So we got to talking about, Dana's situation, medical procedures, dental procedures. Got a funny story here. Christ, I don't think I have the name of the listener who sent this text message, but it's kind of funny. We started talking also about some of the drugs that you might be gifted when you're under the knife for this or that. Qualium, how do I say it?
Valium?
Valium, I wanted to say...
Quaaludes?
I wanted to
say
Quaaludes at the same time. Valium and Novocaine and laughing gas. Here's a listener who says, I had too much Novocaine at the dentist, and only one of my eyes was blinking.
Oh, no.
Weird.
I didn't know what was happening until hours after the procedure. My daughter pointed it out to me. And that's when I remembered that I had stopped at several hardware stores on the way home. I'm sure several people were wondering why I was winking at them. Oh, that's Fired for Quitting Jesus who texted that in. Now, on a completely different message or a completely different topic, I received a text message from Excessive Diarrhea Jesus. He has informed me that he has excessive diarrhea this morning. And he wants to play a quick game. He wants us to guess what he had for breakfast. Does anybody want to take a crack at this? Before you say anything, you should know that via text, I guessed Bosco sticks.
Hater.
But anyone else want to guess? Excessive diarrhea Jesus has excessive diarrhea, and he wants you to guess what he had for breakfast.
A breakfast burrito.
Okay, Ashley's guess is a breakfast burrito. Hater.
Leftover chili that he made last Sunday for the Vikings game.
It's very specific, and more evidence that I think you are on drugs this morning.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I'm just going to go gas station breakfast sandwich.
Sure. Cubby?
Well, I saw the text.
Oh, you did? You're all incorrect.
Darn it.
The correct answer, he says, is an effing fresh-caught fish sandwich.
I'm so stupid. How did I not think of
I don't
that?
know.
What are you doing, man?
I was way wrong, too. I guessed Bosco sticks. I figured Wapple and I would be the ones to wet our pants on that one. Thank you for the text, and sorry about the excessive diarrhea.
What would have been his other options if he wanted to keep ordering?
Oh, man. There would have been a Whataburger, a Whataburger with cheese, a Whataburger without cheese.
Yeah.
French fries.
Yep.
That's one of the best parts of that Stone Cold Steve Austin audio. He doesn't say French fries, he says French fries. Thanks for the text. And sorry about our behavior so far. Here we go.
Ashley's been well behaved. Except she had the vape fluid attack where it kind of makes her all phlegmy.
Yeah, we were talking
it's the
about
vape
that.
Fluid.
It's the oddest thing.
Probably.
It's the oddest thing in the world that you can almost never completely clear your throat before you go live on the radio, which is important in this industry. And we're blaming that vape rod that you're always pulling on in between breaks.
I think part of the reason is that I get so nervous that it's going to happen that I upset my throat because I'll sit there and try to clear it, even though it probably doesn't need to be cleared at the moment. And then when I go on, it's oh, wait, no, I didn't do it all the way.
Yeah, but what
Nervous phlegm. I've never heard that.
Why don't you just try putting down the vape rod? You're not a ninth grader anymore.
I don't think they're allowed to vape.
Who, ninth graders?
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want.
By the way, back to the little quiz that Excessive Diarrhea Jesus sent our way. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. If you ever want to quiz us on your personal life, your job, your likes, your dislikes, we're at 651-989-9393. I like playing little games like that, Cubby.
Yeah, it makes it fun.
Feel free to text us. Other listeners are texting in who are also suffering from excessive diarrhea this morning.
I received a text from a friend yesterday explaining they had excessive diarrhea. And they work with clients all day, and they were a little worried about what was going to happen.
Oh.
But again, the correct answer was a effing fresh catch fish sandwich. Here we go with the stupid news. Well, I suppose this kind of falls under the same topic. Gastrointestinal problems here comes into play in our first stupid news story. Luckily, nobody got killed dead on a city bus in Las Vegas a few months ago. No big surprise here. The incident involved a lunatic pulling out a gun and firing away like it's the effing Wild West because it's 20 plus 23, and that's what we do now. But the sequence of events that led to the shooting is what stands out here. Let me give you the setup. There were 3 people on a city bus. 1, 2, 3. Late at night, 2:30 in the morning. There was a guy-girl couple and also the dangerous moron lunatic with a gun itching for a reason to use it. So, one of the 2 people that make up the guy-girl couple farted. Not sure which it was. I bet it was the chick.
Can't be. Girls don't do that.
So one of the 2 people that make up the guy-girl couple farted. Then one of the 2 people that make up the guy-girl couple giggled at the fart. And they couldn't stop giggling at the fart. The dangerous moron lunatic with the handgun thought they were giggling at him, so he pulls out his gun and he starts firing.
Well, you need that respect, and they weren't giving it to him. At least he thought they weren't giving it to him.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely pathetic. And again, luckily, nobody was killed. Just to get the specifics out of the way, this took place back in May, and apparently the cops finally found the shooter in Arkansas a month ago, and just now charges are being laid out for the genius who tried to kill this couple.
This couple, I think they're going to stay together because they didn't sell whoever the farter was out. They didn't say to the cops, by the way, that must have been a fun conversation. They didn't say who it was.
Right. No finger pointing.
No, not at all.
The shooter is a 25-year-old kid with the name of Dominic Johnson. He hates fart humor. He's looking at attempted murder now and other charges. He fired 4 rounds at a fart. And then he ran off the bus. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the dude half of the fart couple that took the bullets. One in his hand, one in his stomach, one in his leg. The fart was unharmed. The dude with all the bullets in him, he told the cops afterwards that he and his girlfriend were laughing about the smell of the fart. And that's when he heard a loud pop. He and his girlfriend had 0 interaction with this shooter beforehand. This Johnson idiot has already had problems with the law in the past, so he's all done. He'll have plenty of time in prison to sit and think about how he's given up his freedom over a fart.
Aside from the guy taking a few bullets, that's a pretty funny story.
Yes, it is.
Got him with the old Sniff and Wesson. Took out that fart. I'm trying to think of the worst fart I've ever experienced in my entire life and how many bullets it would take to take it down.
Oh. You really want to have this conversation? Because I could tell you a story.
I've been around some that I think, and I got to say, the worst one ever was from a girl that it would take a couple of 50 cal rounds to take it down. Absolutely awful.
From a girl.
That's so terrible.
And we were outside, and it was still that bad.
Josh, I'm sorry that happened to you. That must have been horrible.
Oh, it was bad.
Absolutely horrible.
Was it very obvious that it was her who did it?
Oh, yeah, she was.
She's proud of it?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
She claimed it. Yeah, that
claimed it.
Well, and it was just the 2 of us, so I knew it wasn't me.
Do I need to tell the story again of the blood fart?
I think you should.
When we were in high school, my stupid twin brother. That's when he got his obsession with pumping weights and powerlifting and all that silliness, right? And that's when he would spend all night whipping up protein shakes and protein drinks, and he'd buy these giant barrels of powder and mix it with milk or whatever. It was just horrible. And all he would eat was plain baked chicken and then drink 76 ounces of this protein swill.
Those are the worst. If you know people that have a lot of that protein, yeah, that's bad.
And it just turned his guts into a swamp from hell. And every once in a while, he would dose us with these brutal workout farts. And one night, it had to have been 20 below zero. We're traveling together in a motor vehicle, and he dumps one of these workout farts on us. and it was so horrific, so horrible. 20 below, and, well, at this point, we were almost grown. We were high school kids. 20 below, and we didn't want to roll the windows all the way down because we would freeze to death. We're going 70 miles an hour on the freeway, right? We had the windows cracked, and almost grown males are pressing their noses up against the crack of the window to try to get some oxygen, some fresh air.
That bad.
It was the most pathetic sight you'd ever seen, and it was so horrible, one of my friends named it the blood fart. Because he said it smelled like blood.
There are some good fart stories coming in via text here, and our text machine is kind of taking a dump here. I'll sum up. I'm sorry, I can't read the text. They just went away. Basically, it was two similar stories. In one case, a guy was a passenger in his buddy's vehicle. The buddy, and I hope I'm not screwing this up. I take that back. He was the driver. He rolled up and locked the windows so they couldn't open it.
No.
He dosed his friend so bad, it backfired on the driver because his friend threw up inside the car. Somebody else texted in an almost exact same story.
Yeah, I saw that once, too.
Somebody barfed from it?
Yes.
I've never seen that.
Hockey locker room. We had just gotten off the ice. You know, this is back when we made a real effort. This is the early years of my 1,000-point beer league career where we actually tried our best to play actual hockey and tried our best to win. So we come off the ice, and guys are just pouring sweat and exhausted, right? And somebody in the locker room, you know, we're nearly naked at that point. After the game's over, we're getting changed. And someone dosed the locker room. And one dude who was really extra cooked from the game, pouring sweat, it just took him over, and blah, he threw up on the friggin' floor of the locker room.
Oh, that's tough.
That sucked.
Because hockey locker rooms don't have the best smell as it is. Then you add that into on top of it, I can see why somebody might just lose their lunch.
So it was a mix of.
Oof. All right, I got the Jesus names who sent in those texts. Chugged Up Plumber Jesus and Grower and then a Shower Jesus. Had similar stories there. And this is true. You pick them up, you drop them, Jesus said it's a proven scientific fact that girl farts are worse smelling than men's. Has anybody ever heard that before?
Never heard that, but it's not really a study I'd want to be a part of.
I want you to be a part of that study.
I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, this might produce some gas. Pica.
Oh, the eating disorder?
We should all be thankful that none of us have pica. Especially Wapple and Dana and Ashley. The three of you have enough problems as it is.
Very true.
You don't need to also be dealing with pica. If you don't know or you don't remember, pica is a condition where apparently you can't help but go ahead and eat every damn thing that crosses your path as long as it's not food. We've talked about pica on this here radio program before. Here's how a doctor described pica. It's where someone, quote, compulsively swallows items that aren't food. So here's a fella in, I believe, India. He had a stomach ache that was bothering a player for, 2 years.
That's a long time.
When he finally went off to the doctor's office, the doctors saw that he had trash cans worth of random household items in his boiler. Buttons, earphones, lockets, chains, nuts, bolts, all kinds of other things. There's a picture going around the internet of what the doctors punched loose from this guy's guts.
It looks like a junk drawer.
Right. Some folks are calling him the human hardware store. I mean, he really did swallow every damn thing. Springs, keychains, washers, safety pins. Cubby, I think I saw your baseball in there. Your baseball that you love.
Don't touch my baseball. Did any of you guys swallow anything when you were a kid, like a penny or a Lego?
Yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, I never did.
Again, my brother and I had, my twin brother and I, when we were very little, we had toy guns with plastic bullets. For whatever reason, one day I swallowed one of the plastic bullets, and then my mother had to watch it come out of me to make sure it was passed.
I had a buddy who almost had an issue with it. He used to swallow Legos and coins quite a bit.
Ooh.
And it was the same thing you just described. The doctor would tell the mom, hey, why is it always the mom? The doc
that's true.
told the mom, hey, you better kind of keep checking to make sure that stuff comes out.
Mine was always coins and Polly Pocket shoes.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I remember you talking about the coins and the Polly Sprocket. Yeah, how come dads never sift through poop?
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Good for you, dads.
Would you consider it, Josh?
Well,
yeah, he would.
I would pray. My wife is a very good caretaker, so she'd volunteer. And she loves poop. It's weird. She absolutely loves it.
I kind of like that dads have avoided that over the centuries. This guy with the iron guts, he goes by the name of Coal Deep. He does. Coal Deep. I feel bad for old Coal Deep. They say that pica, don't you know, is most common among young children, pregnant women, and people with psychiatric disorders. According to the local news, Coal Deep's family had no idea he was into eating garbage. He has severe wounds in his guts. It was a 3-hour surgery to pull everything out of his belly. He's still on a ventilator and in critical by God woo condition. So let's keep Coal Deep in our minds. Let's get him out of that hospital. That sounds terrible. Another example of pica, if you're not too tired of the topic yet, a gal in London, when she was pregnant. Again, remember I mentioned that's a common type of person to get involved in pica, eating random items. A gal in London, when she was pregnant, she went ahead and she ate $4,000 worth of clay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yuck.
Now, I know nothing about clay. I didn't take art class or anything in high school, even though I always loved Rush. I still didn't sign up for art class. I could just listen
pottery?
to Rush. No, I didn't need art class to listen to Rush. But I'm guessing that clay might lead to some of that Cubby-style constipation.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, there'd be some blockage there.
She, I find her attractive.
This lady who ate the clay?
Yeah.
Well, can you maybe swing your computer over this way so I can get a look at what the lady looks like?
Happy to look at her. She's attractive.
Wee-wah. You are not... Is that her husband and her whole family?
Yeah, I wish I could Photoshop them out of there and put us in there, but yeah.
Cubby, let me tell you something. Not that you don't already know because you've seen the picture, but let me tell you something about her backyard.
She's shapely everywhere.
Oh!
Would you eat clay for her?
Yes.
I'd eat clay off of her. Off of her. She's very pretty. Hey, Josh, have you seen the new movie? It's called Constipated.
No.
Oh, wait, it hasn't come out yet.
You bastard.
Josh, I know constipation jokes may not be your favorite, but they're certainly a solid number 2.
You bastard again.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the guy who registered at a website for constipation sufferers?
No.
Yeah, it wouldn't let him log out.
All right, I received a text here, and I don't know if they're kidding or not. You have to get back to us. When I was pregnant, this says, I would crave asphalt. My mouth would water when I drove by the guys laying fresh asphalt in the street.
Is that right?
I do that when I drive by construction workers. My mouth starts to water a little bit.
Drooling.
Because of the asphalt? Or?
No.
Okay.
Let me tell you something about that clay-eating lady and how she's built. Whoa. All right, no question. The fake heart attack bit is an all-time great. You can use it to get out of a sticky situation, to save you from an embarrassing scene, to avoid unwanted responsibility. But I believe, tell me where you go with this, Josh, I believe there's a limit on fake heart attacks. I think each of us should maybe be allowed 3 or 4, and that's it.
And in the most dire situation.
Yeah, at max.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it has to be terribly dire, I think.
We only get 3, you just said.
Yeah.
I'd want to save myself from getting beat up or something like that.
Well, that's probably smart.
Versus just getting out of going to a wedding.
That's probably smart strategy. Then you don't use them up too fast. I think anything beyond 3 or 4, not only are you tempting fate, maybe, but if the fake heart attack routine becomes too common or recognized, then you're ruining the chances that the next guy will get away with it.
I think I hit your car, now I'm gonna fucking hit you right in the fucking head. Get off. Hey. Oh, my heart. What are you doing? What is this? Is it your heart? Oh, Christ. I don't know CPR. Hey, somebody call an ambulance. Call 911.
Seriously, the guy was coming after me with a tire iron. I faked the whole thing.
Okay, what's that show again?
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Never saw it, but I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this much. Every time you play that audio, I laugh my nuts off. I've never seen the show, but that audio even is brilliant enough to get me laughing.
Yeah, it's good. If Larry David, he's about to get beat up by a guy. If you heard at the end, he said he has a tire iron. So just last second, he decides to fake a heart attack, and the guy starts to feel bad for him and doesn't beat him up.
That's beautiful.
I love that show.
It can be very good.
At any rate, I believe there's a code of honor amongst fake heart attackers. I really do think that.
Maybe, you shouldn't use it for evil.
Just don't use it for evil.
Yeah,
I think that
should be the main rule.
Let's fall.
The golden rule.
All of us fall under that golden rule. Just don't use it for evil. That's a great way to put it. This effing guy in Spain has overdone it. He's a 50-year-old. He's being accused of faking a heart attack just to get out of paying a restaurant bill. And apparently, he's done this at least 20 times.
Oh, wow. All right. That's a lot. He should be dead.
Now, also on a side note, we've been having a few conversations this morning about stomach problems. Jesus, Josh, if you ever catch me consuming the following, just put me in an ambulance until necessary. One of the times this guy was effing around at a restaurant and faked a heart attack to get out of the bill, he drank several glasses of something called white label whiskey and ate a Russian salad. I don't have any idea what that means, but boy, I bet you put some whiskey on top of that and you should check me into a hospital.
I'll bet there's beets in there. I don't like beets.
No.
Gross.
I'm too lazy to Google that. Would anybody else be able to do that?
Russian salad?
It's pure laziness that I can't type two words.
It's a Friday. We got you.
So that's what the guy had for dinner in one situation and then faked a heart attack.
Oh, it looks like a potato salad.
It's boiled potatoes, carrots, eggs, pickles, ham, and peas and mayo.
Oh, my God. I'm going to vomit all over myself.
He had that with 7 glasses of whiskey?
Apparently so.
Dude.
I almost threw up, Wapple, by the time you were done giving that rundown.
And then I added mayo.
That was what he did. So now he's done it so many times, multiple restaurants, wherever the hell, Spain, I think, that's his neighborhood. Multiple restaurants have been passing his photo around to warn each other of this guy. He's been caught. He was sentenced to 42 days in jail, but he could be in more trouble. His scams individually are considered minor crimes, but now all these restaurants are gathering together, teaming up to file a joint complaint. And if you add up all the money collectively, he could be looking at up to 2 years in, jail.
I kind of hope it's like the boy who cried wolf situation.
I mean, you want him to die from a real one because nobody comes to his aid?
I don't want him to die, but yeah, it happens in like the middle of a restaurant.
You want him to have a real heart attack.
Yeah, so he opens his eyes and sees like, oh, this is a serious thing. Maybe I should stop being a terrible person.
And then you want him to die.
No death.
You want to watch him slowly die.
Permanently disabled.
No.
But you see, that's what you get for overdoing the bit. That's selfish right there. And it's come back to bite his ass. Selfish.
All right, so we have a follow-up on the young lady who texted in and said that she had a weird craving when she was pregnant. She'd drive by fresh asphalt and have a craving for it. And I had asked maybe if she was messing with us or not, and she said it was 100% true.
That is what my grandfather used to call a hell of a deal.
It is a hell of a deal.
He died of a heart attack, Ashley, if that means anything to you.
Yeah, you're probably super happy to hear
As
that.
long as he didn't fake it.
Did that make you happy?
Did he fake it? Then no.
No, he didn't. He died.
Then no. I'm not mad.
You know, you're in a much better mood since you heard that Nick's grandpa died from a heart attack. It made your day.
I can't wipe the smile off my face.
You think that's funny? I was up to the plate at T-ball, and the sumbitch is in the stands. He goes, "Go, Nick," and he drops dead of a heart attack. You think that's funny?
She did just send me a G-chat that said, "LOL, this is so funny."
You know how much wise advice he gave Nick over the year? He was selfless, and he was a hard-working man his whole life.
He was.
Never complained.
Didn't have a job for the last 25 years of his life, but he was a hard-working man.
Oh, but then his heart gives out. That's so funny.
That's great. I see what kind of relationship we have now, Ashley. That's good.
God forbid Nick dies of a heart attack someday. You'll be laughing at the funeral.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God.
He does have
Josh.
He has a... It's the big one.
It's happening.
He does have a heart condition.
Yeah, that's
Do you laugh about
possibility.
that?
I got my heart condition from my dead grandpa. It's genetic.
People at the funeral are like, "Oh man, she's really busted up. Look at how much her makeup's running." Oh no, she's laughing and crying so hard. That's where the tears are coming from. She thinks this is hilarious.
Yeah, she wants us to cheer her up if she's having a bad day by reminding her about Nick's heart condition.
My grandpa, on his birthday, on the 4th of July, has a sudden heart attack at my T-ball game, and Ashley thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
On the 4th of July, too.
And it was his birthday.
She's dating a cardiologist just to hear the stories.
I've met that guy. He's no cardiologist.
Another text here from You Pick Him Up, You Dropped Him, Jesus. Nick, he wants to know, was your grandpa actually there to see your twin brother and not you play the game? Because I know that's why your parents would go.
Good catch.
It's been a great morning for me.
This isn't good for his heart, Ashley. You're cold-blooded.
Now, are you guys all caught up in the... and I've just been told that I only have 2 fake heart attacks left.
Oh, that's right. You just had a fake heart attack.
Oh, you wasted one.
No, I didn't waste it.
That was worth it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't look at it as a waste, but yes, you're right. I've got 2 left for the rest of my life. I can live with that.
I'm honored that you used one on me.
Are you guys all caught up in the New Zealand KFC penis drawings controversy?
I've seen the photo, yes.
Have you taken a side yet, Josh, in the New Zealand KFC penis drawings controversy?
As a 48-year-old man, I wish I was more mature, but I find it to be pretty funny that there were a bunch of penises drawn on the KFC bag.
This has taken the internet. Forget about Britney Spears swinging around Ginsu knives like a maniac while dressed in lingerie. Everyone's talking about this here deal now. A dude in Auckland, New Zealand. I think I have the right neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He took his kids to effing KFC a few nights ago. Man, that's a good dad right there. My grandpa would do that for me. My dad wouldn't.
Well, he can't anymore.
No, he can't.
Oh, my God.
You somehow think I'm not aware of that? You somehow think that's news to me? That he... Oh, God, Josh.
No, don't do it, Nick.
God.
No.
It feels like a...
Nope. That's an ingrown toenail.
I taste copper.
Nope.
I do.
He's not using his second fake heart attack. Come on, don't forget, Ashley's going to get married 1 or 2 more times. Save those things.
I want to be able to see that. Have a fake heart attack at her. So, dude takes his kids through the stinking KFC drive-thru. David Carpenter is the fella's name. He's got 2 kids with him. He's got his significant effing other with him, too. He says there was nothing unusual about the order, no confrontation with the staff. He was asked to park in front of the store while his order was completed. That can happen, right? You've had to pull up.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Why don't you go wait over the... Right?
Go to stall 1.
I usually like doing that because then you get fresh food.
After a brief wait, a male KFC staff member walks up and handed him his order in a paper bag. And then he passed the bag to his 8 and 10-year-old children. And that's when one of the kids upped and said, "Dad, what's this on the bag?" And when the old man looked, there were penises. Penises and balls drawn all over his KFC bag.
That would kind of brighten my day.
Yeah.
You're not expecting that, random penis in a drawing form, to be specific.
By the way, a listener's trying to help me out here. Those first 2 episodes that I had here on the show, Josh, those were fake strokes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. See, people look out for each other around here.
The Brotherhood's looking out for me. The dude says he looked at his KFC bag and he sees the penises and the balls drawn on there, and he said, "What the actual F?" He showed the bag to his significant other, and his significant other said, "Yeah, what is this? What's all the... Have you guys all seen the pictures?"
Yeah, variety of sizes. I see.
Now, I hate this when the foreign slang terms come into play in these stories. You guys know that, but the story comes from stupid New Zealand, so here we go. The confused and offended dad went back into the KFC and showed an employee the bag with the cartoon dongs and nuts all over it. And he said when the employee got a look at the bag, the employee was, quote, kerfuffled at the sight of all of this filth.
I've been there.
The employee said, "Where'd you get this bag?" And the dude said, "You effing just handed me this here bag." He said he remained calm while asking the staff for answers on what the hell's going on. One staff member admitted she filled his order, but she denied drawing hilarious penises and balls all over the bag. He was offered a refund. He accepted the refund. He left the bag behind with the staff, who asked to keep it for their own investigation.
The investigation of the drawings of the penises.
Yes. A KFC spokesman told the local papers over there in, what do you call this town again? Auckland, New Zealand. A KFC spokesperson told the local papers they completed an investigation and found, quote, no evidence to suggest any members of the staff were involved in the penises and the balls being drawn on the bag. It's an effing mystery. Now, here's where the guy goes a little too far, in my personal opinion. He said, quote, he was absolutely horrified that his children had been confronted with these images. Come on, it was a cartoon penis.
And they thought it was hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
You know it.
It wasn't a snuff film, okay?
I knew that was coming when you said his kids got the bag.
What?
I knew that it was going to go this route, that he was going to say that it was just absolutely horrifying and all that because kids were involved.
He's vowed to never eat at KFC again.
That's his loss.
Again.
Well, at least he's being reasonable about the whole thing.
I think I have this whole thing figured out, though.
You ain't got jack squat figured out. I'll tell you that right now.
As a former fast food employee, I bet someone was like doodling and they were kind of using a bag as a scratch piece of paper.
Yeah. Sure.
And then another employee wasn't looking, went by, used that bag to bag up the food, handed it out.
Yes.
You know what, Wample? I love how you explained that like it was the most complicated thing in the entire world.
As if no one else had that thought.
Yes.
Or the guy did it himself for social media attention and free KFC.
Social media attention and free KFC, the man said.
Yeah, he says he'll never eat at KFC again. I bet he went home and ate that KFC that he bought.
And I bet when the KFC tries to make it right by giving him a gift card, he's going to be there tomorrow.
It is quite the kerfuffle, I must admit.
No doubt about that.
All right, we got to take
That's
a break.
What the K in KFC now stands for me.
We got to go. Ashley, you want to take any more cheap shots at my dead family members?
I'm good right now. Thank you, though.
Are you
Maybe
good
check
right
later.
now? Going to be a long show today, Ashley.
Your eyes terrify me.
It's going to be a long show. I'm going to look into your twisted-ass family tree, see what I can come up with.
You're going to be serial killer vibes right now with
Look
the eyes.
into
Any
my
congenital
eyes.
conditions in your family we could make fun of?
It's the eyes that frighten you, you say.
Some diabetes. You can make fun of diabetes.
Diabetes is funny stuff. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Big things happen when he hit people. I mean, that's the one thing that he could do to change the game. It was just awesome. So you had to get him blocked because he's going to make a play from sideline to sideline.
Butkus in the middle really was a very physical linebacker. I mean, he was probably as big as the offensive lineman that he was playing against then. Played with a lot of power and physicality. Was very instinctive, though. He ran well, he got to the ball, but he was a big presence in the middle and a big personality, too.
I want to just let them know that they've been hit. And when they get up, they don't have to look to see who was that hit them. Shouldn't be any puzzle. When they come to, they got to say, well, it must have been Butkus that got me.
Well, you know what a shock this was that Dick Butkus has died at 80 years old, one of the greatest linebackers to ever play in the NFL. This was a real heart attack, I think. That's what it sounds like to me. Paramedics were called to his house in Malibu. Someone had gone to check on him. He was unresponsive. Paramedics showed up. He was pronounced dead at the scene. It sounds like he had a real deal grabber, Mr. Dick Butkus.
That's very sad. One of the all-time tough guys. I knew him more from TV at first. I mean, he stopped playing football before I was born.
Right.
And I just knew him as, on some of the shows he'd be on, he'd be Dick Butkus, right? He'd be like this tough football player.
Great personality.
Yeah, he was funny.
Seemed very likable, very popular with NFL players of any generation. Because he remained a fan of the game, remained involved in the game. His club last night, his old club, the Chicago Bears, I believe they got their first win of the season, did they not?
They did.
Mm-hmm. And, he was active on social media. Dick Butkus was, by all accounts, a pretty happy guy, led a great life. It's shocking and sad that he has passed so suddenly. I'm sure Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will have something or another to say about this when we talk to them in about a half an hour.
I believe I heard, the Bears win last night was their first win in 14 games.
Something like that.
In like 347 days.
Woo-wee! Yeah, hell of a deal.
I think I also heard another stat that said every single professional team in Chicago got a win before the Bears did. So
I think I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hear you. Like I said, Randy and Brad would likely have something to say about Dick Butkus here shortly. It's a crazy weekend with the Twins playing tomorrow and Sunday in Houston in the American League Divisional Series. Golden Gopher football hosting the number 2 team in the country tomorrow night, the stupid Michigan Wolverines with their stupid head coach, Jim Harbaugh. The Vikings and Chiefs. Speaking of the Vikings, when Randy and Brad join us in about a half hour, we're going to talk to long snapper Andrew DePaola again. We'll get a listener on air for Purple Pick'em, and we'll get to our latest Dad Fights episode. For now, we'll take a breather. Josh's News is coming up.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Get an inside look at Hollywood with Michael Rosenbaum.
Let's get inside of Anthony LaPaglia. My grandmother will be 95 in June.
I haven't drank water in 95 years. Look at me. Do I need water?
You look a little dehydrated.
A little bit. Your skin's a little dry. And when I do drink, it bores me.
Yeah.
Just drinking it, I start to nod off.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
You heard rapid fire sound like fireworks. It was pop, 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 and then it was pop, 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 pop again. I was like, that's not fireworks.
The 3 police officers ambushed by gunfire while responding to a shooting in northeast Philadelphia apparently are going to be okay. And apparently that dispute followed a argument over video games. Police were called about 7 p.m. Wednesday night after investigators say a 12-year-old boy reported his father had shot his uncle.
He's still shooting from inside that location. We also have a victim inside that location.
Authorities say the dispute was over a loud video game. The father and his juvenile son were arguing when the boy's uncle stepped in and began to argue with the father. Police believe the 42-year-old dad fired a shot inside the house, which caused the boy and his uncle to retreat upstairs. The father followed. Police say the gunman waited for police to arrive in the doorway after shooting the boy's uncle and then opened fire when police pulled up.
We go to these locations and these houses and these jobs to essentially try to fix the problems, find solutions for people. Again, that's one of the dangers of this job, that you just don't know what you're walking up on or what the mindset of the individuals that you're going to come in contact with.
2 officers were shot in the leg, 1 hit in the hand, and police say all 3 are expected to recover.
It is stunning. I thank God that they're all okay. I thank them for their bravery and their desire to do this job, which is very, very difficult. And I thank their families for the sacrifice that they make. There's a lot of upset people in there that had a good outcome, but still emotionally traumatized.
The boy's uncle was taken to the hospital in critical condition.
Fascinating how some people operate, huh, Cubby?
Yeah, I mean, it started over something so stupid. An Orlando man was arrested for allegedly flashing a gun during his son's youth football game because another parent in the stands said their son was better than his.
Oh!
The incident happened 6:45 p.m. Saturday at Leesburg High School, where his son was playing in a Pop Warner football game. Police were dispatched to the high school after several callers said a man had a gun on campus and was threatening people. The suspect's wife said they were watching their son's youth football game when her husband started arguing with parents about their children. One parent apparently told the man their son was better than his son. So he became upset and went to his pickup to grab a gun. Parents fled the area shortly after. The wife added that she was the one driving that night because her enraged husband was drunk. Police found 2 beer bottles and a bottle of whiskey in the car.
A bottle of whiskey.
Oh, jeez.
This incident came just days before a preteen boy, also in Florida, shot 2 of his football teammates in a fight over chips. After having the food knocked out of his hand by the other players, the 11-year-old went to his mother's vehicle, pulled a gun, and fired, injuring 2 other children.
God save us all.
Former Chicago Bear and NFL Hall of Famer Dick Butkus, considered among the best linebackers to ever play the game, has died at the age of 80.
Nobody intimidated more just by looking across the line of scrimmage than Dick Butkus.
Butkus created why you don't come in the middle of the field. Right? He played the game the way a linebacker is always supposed to play the game. He's that icon that every kid needs to research.
Butkus, a graduate of the University of Illinois, where he helped lead his team to a Rose Bowl victory, was a first-round pick by the Bears in the 1965 NFL Draft. A native of Chicago, he played for 9 seasons. He was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year twice, named first-team All-NFL 6 times, and the Bears retired his jersey number 51 in 1994. Not one to shy away from the spotlight, he appeared in films including Necessary Roughness, Johnny Dangerously, The Last Boy Scout, and Any Given Sunday. He was a regular character on TV shows such as Blue Thunder, My Two Dads, and MacGyver. Following his retirement, he enjoyed a career as a broadcaster and sports analyst. The family of Dick Butkus confirmed yesterday he died peacefully in his sleep. 80 years old.
That's how it went out? I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yeah.
God, Josh, I love that you mentioned Johnny Dangerously, one of the greatest movies of all time.
That's why I put that in there. I knew you loved that
Appreciate that.
A 65-year-old pilot has been charged with using a small plane to stalk and harass an upstate New York woman who accused him of first sexting her, a photo of himself partially naked and bound to a bed. Michael Arnold was already under a temporary order of protection issued in May to cease and desist from flying any and all aircraft after being accused of 4 years' worth of bizarre harassment from the sky. The senior citizen from New Hampshire is accused of stalking a woman named Cassie from the skies above her home. He flies so close to the house it feels like he's going to go through it. It's a nightmare that just doesn't stop, she said.
This is no way to live, and it's terrifying, to be quite honest, because at any point it could be the day that he chooses that he's landing in the middle of the village.
Cassie said she and her family would be awakened at 7 a.m. several times a week by the sound of the plane, which was so close windows and doors rattled. On one occasion, the pilot pelted her home and yard with tomatoes. The trouble began when Arnold walked into her eatery, the Revolution Cafe, in October of 2019 for some soup, as old people do.
Yeah.
But then later started sending her inappropriate messages. The first was a photo and an email showing him semi-clothed and bound in bed, along with several photos of naked women. Arnold wrote about spending time with 2 girlfriends at a nudie resort in Costa Rica, quote unquote. Then he started flying over her house, sending her pictures of her house, her pool, her backyard, herself, her family, and even some friends of hers. An FBI agent said Arnold had also been flying over the home of a former girlfriend for years. He made an initial appearance in court Wednesday on charges of aggravated stalking, amongst other charges.
That is next level commitment.
That's crazy. A woman's plan to make one-of-a-kind jewelry died at airport customs last week when specialists with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized a box containing giraffe crap. The Iowa woman declared the feces and told curious agents at Minneapolis-St. Paul International that she planned to make a necklace. Would you guys want a poop necklace?
No, I would not.
Good.
She said she used moose droppings in the past for a similar project. There's a real danger bringing fecal matter into the U.S., including the high possibility of contracting disease, a Customs and Border Protection spokesperson said. Kenya is affected with African swine fever, classical swine fever, Pac-Man fever, Newcastle disease, and foot and mouth disease, officials said.
I'll be damned.
After seizing the box, specialists destroyed the giraffe excrement.
She wants a poop necklace. She wants a poop necklace. Remember the old ZZ Top hit?
Sure.
It was a big hit.
I didn't know the connotation of that song, Pearl Necklace, until I was a much older person.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, I knew it right away.
I found out
of course I didn't.
A couple years ago.
You know.
It took me a long time where everybody else already knew. I didn't know.
Yep. I feel you there, Josh.
I mean, like,
I was the only one in the room.
Past high school, I still didn't understand.
That long?
Yeah.
She just wants some nice jewelry.
I guess so. New music this week includes a release from John Wick star Keanu Reeves' band Dog Star, their first in over 2 decades, called Somewhere Between the Power Lines and Palm Trees. Also out today, Of Mice and Men, Tether. Of Mice and Men's 7th studio album, Tether is the follow-up to 2021's Echo, which received, by the way, a perfect 10 out of 10 from Rock and Load magazine. For more rock releases this week, check out the 93X playlist on Spotify and, of course, our notable new releases post on 93X.com. The Burial is now in theaters. In a film inspired by true events, a lawyer helps a funeral home owner save his family business from a corporate behemoth, exposing a complex web of race, power, and injustice. The Burial stars Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones, and following its theatrical release, it's going to premiere on Prime Video next Friday. The other big screen release this week, The Exorcist Believer.
Oh, no.
When his daughter and her friend show signs of demonic possession, it unleashes a chain of events that forces a single dad to confront the evil. The Exorcist Believer is intended as a direct sequel to the original, and I have not seen one positive review.
Oh, no!
Bummer.
Not a one.
Well, that's too bad. I love that original one. By damn, I do.
Continuing the pre-Halloween horror entertainment this weekend, Pet Sematary Bloodlines, now streaming on Paramount+. The film follows a young lad named Judd Crandall in 1969 who dreams of leaving his hometown behind, but soon discovers sinister secrets buried within. He's forced to confront a dark family history that will forever keep him connected to the town. David Duchovny, Henry Thomas, and Pam Grier star. Then today on Prime Video, Totally Killer. 35 years after the shocking murders of 3 teens, an infamous killer returns on Halloween night to claim a 4th victim. When 17-year-old Jamie comes face-to-face with the masked maniac, she accidentally travels back in time to 1987 and teams up with her teenage mother to take down the psycho once and for all. Julie Bowen and Randall Park both star. Now on demand, Monsters of California, the directorial debut of Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. It's about uncovering a government conspiracy surrounding aliens.
You're a fan of that Blink-182 operation, aren't you, Dana?
Very big fan. I love Tom DeLonge a lot, but I don't think I'm going to sit down and watch
What's the deal with him? What's the deal with this DeLonge guy and aliens?
The government basically announced that aliens do exist. He did his research.
He did what to the government?
The government had to come out and admit that they have encountered aliens because of the stuff that Tom DeLonge had discovered.
When did the government admit that?
A few months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
I missed that.
Yeah, a lot of people, it kind of just happened, and then people were like, okay, and then went on with life.
Well, do you think, can you sit down with that guy and just say, hey, dude, let's talk some football? Or is it all he wants to talk about?
He's very fascinated with aliens and the supernatural and UFOs.
Yeah, it's kind of like his thing. Right?
It is his thing, yeah. When he's not making music, he's researching UFOs.
The government folded because of a dude from Blink-182?
More or less, yeah.
I never would have predicted that. Maybe like Pantera or Ozzy Osbourne or something. I didn't think the government would be brought to his knees, Cubby, by a dude from Blink-182.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate all that is. People in the government have said, yeah, you're onto a couple things there.
And that's something.
Yeah. Birthdays over the weekend. On Sunday, WWE superstar Mike The Miz Mizanin turns 43. I love The Miz.
Me too.
Yeah. I know you guys.
I love it.
There's a lot to love there, and man, has he come a long way.
Yep. His TV show's great, Ms. and Mrs. So funny.
Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. Matt Damon will be 53 on Sunday. Sigourney Weaver, 74. Also Sunday, Chevy Chase, 80. He's going to be coming to town.
Rochester, I think?
Rochester, correct.
What, doing a stand-up show?
No, for Christmas Vacation, like a little Q&A. He's going to stick around, watch Christmas Vacation, talk about it.
Oh, let it go.
Oh, I love that movie. Then tomorrow, Mr. John Cougar Mellencamp. Going to be 72.
Wow, yeah, I'm a fan.
And today, Elizabeth Shue, hubba,
Wait
60.
a minute. Yeah, is that right?
That's right. Current broadcaster, former Gopher, NFL safety, Vikings defensive coordinator, and Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy, 68 today. I have to apologize. Our text machine is not working as it should.
Has it gone to hell on us again?
Yeah, so I know I will be missing some texts and shout-outs. I do apologize. I know that sucks. I've been doing my best to refresh as we go here, but it hasn't been working for me.
I did get that picture from your wife.
Well, yeah, that's on your personal phone.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, that's different than what we use here.
You're right.
Yeah. Big Rig Fenders Jesus text in a shout-out to all the members of the Brother and Sisterhood who are also in the industrial trades. Happy National Manufacturing Day. Let's keep building what they buy, he said. Nick, I've been asked to tell you we have a new Jesus name in the hood.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Are you?
Is it Nick's grandpa died terribly, Jesus, or something like that?
That'd be a Jesus name made up by Ashley, if that was the case.
Yeah, go ahead. It sounds like it might try to hurt my feelings, but I'm a grown man now. I can take it.
This is the name that this person has chosen.
K.
Ross, Jesus, hashtag rah.
My headphones kind of cut out there. I missed it. What was that again?
I'm going to text you along with some more photos from my wife that I think you might appreciate. Happy birthday to Santa Jesus. This person says, congratulations on 11 years of being married to me today. That is from I'd Eat Ashley's Skin Tags, Jesus.
Holy smokes.
Yuck. She does have quite a few, and that's mostly on the face, and that's 93X News.
The Minnesota Vikings interview.
You hate to have too much time to stew in your own juices.
Touchdown! Vikings win it! On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Lost. We're horny for you. Come aboard. You'll get drunk and screw and skull. Although it's not for free, got to go. Pick a lawn and go pee. The Bang Boat. Sex toys and hookers will have some fun. The Bang Boat. Orally pleasuring everyone. Clamps for your nipples and tickle your poop deck dreams. It's Skull. Welcome aboard, it's Skull.
Multiple Minnesota Vikings players, including prominent ones like Bryant McKinney and
Andrew DePaola,
Dante Culpepper,
Randy Shaver,
Fred Smoot.
That's a lie.
Happy anniversary, Bang Boat. One of my favorite moments in Vikings history.
Yeah, that was a really good Vikings season just for that reason. We also got the Wizinator. What a good year that was.
Tell me the year again.
05, I believe.
Yep.
Unbelievable. One of my favorite Vikings memories, no doubt, the Bang Boat scandal, and it's been, God, I don't know,
almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years since that sumbitch. Let the madness begin. This is when we really get busy here on the program today. Our regular guests at this time are here and accounted for. I heard Randy Shaver say something. I heard Brad Ryder breathing.
I laughed.
There you go, Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver. Nice.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nice to have you. And boy, it's been a while. I hope he still has interest in being our friend. Let's say hello to Vikings long snapper man, Andrew DePaola. Good morning, Depot.
Good morning, guys. Great to be back.
Well,
Nice to have you back.
Great to have you back. It's been a while. It's the anniversary of the Bang Boat. right?
Man, just an exciting time right now.
Yeah.
How old were you in 2005, Andrew?
18.
18. So you were very much aware of what was going on. Did you find it hilarious like we did?
You know, actually, so I didn't really hear about it like when it went on. I heard about it like afterwards, you know, when it started making the rounds, you know, weeks later and everyone started picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I can remember being a very impressionable 18-year-old and being like, wow, that's what professional athletes do with their free time?
Yeah.
Not sure if that's something I'm
Did it
ready for.
inspire you to work harder?
Yeah, is that when you first decided I want to become a Minnesota Viking?
You know, I didn't think I was ready for it. I was like, man, I don't know if that's in my future.
I think I still wouldn't be ready for something like that. Some of the stories we heard.
Oh, God, I'm ready today.
Man, the story.
I'm ready.
I'm ready today for that kind of a boat party.
Do
I
you,
am.
do you remember the okra patch, running through the okra patch? What that meant?
There were some terrible stories.
Maybe you
but
could Google that one. I don't know how to describe that one.
it was,
Running through the okra patch.
Yeah, some of the stories about the bang boat are a little concerning, but I still...
International waters.
I still want in, Josh.
Where
I still
players
want in.
thought there were no laws. They were on Lake Minnetonka, and they assumed that was international waters.
Right, international waters. I don't blame you, though, Andrew DePaola. As an 18-year-old kid, I think I might have thought the same thing. I would have thought, wow, that's what goes on once you hit the big leagues? Man. It was a great moment. You guys, now, I'm wondering, I wonder how many employees are still in the building over there at the headquarters for the Minnesota Vikings that were working for the club back in those days.
Oh, probably not very many.
I know a few, though.
You do, Brad Ryder?
Sure.
You know some folks who worked there then, and they're still members of the Vikings staff.
Yes.
Well, I bet they've got some stories, huh?
Bob Hagan and Tom West, they've got some. They could write a book, and it would be a bestseller.
Those were the two I was thinking of specifically.
Yeah.
Did Tom West start there when he was 5?
Well, he's my age. You know, I remember Tom from back in the day when we were young buck running wild beer drinker types.
That's
So
one handsome guy.
Yeah, I remember. I'd forgotten about those guys, West and Hagan. Sure. Those are the guys you were thinking about, Brad Ryder?
Yep, those are my guys.
What a great memory. What a great memory it is.
And in the song, as you heard, they were pulling over in their limos, urinating on random rich people's lawns.
Unbelievable.
You can't go out on Lake Minnetonka and see an Alan Alma's boat go by without saying, ha, bang boat. You can't.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear they're still out there floating.
Yeah, they're still doing their thing. Well, what the hell's been going on for the last couple of weeks, Andrew DePaola? We haven't talked to you in so long.
Man, I don't know. I just figured you guys only wanted to talk to a winner.
Well, you're coming off a win.
So I was like, man, they're avoiding me now. I don't.
You thought
something I did?
You thought we were mad at you.
Never.
No,
Nick
no.
loves it when the Vikings don't win.
I do. I enjoy it. And if all we talked to were winners on this program, it would just be me and Josh. So we got to have a little bit of leeway for some of you folks who can't quite get their act together. Yeah, it's been a long time, but Brad Ryder said you're coming off of a win, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's got to feel pretty good.
I have to be totally honest. I have absolutely no memory of what we're talking about. What win was that?
Carolina.
Carolina
Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. Sure. What was it like in Flair country?
It was warm.
Yeah.
Man, great weather down there.
Yeah.
Got a sunburn?
Did you?
I did.
Talk to Adam Thielen much? You get a chance to reconnect with him?
Yeah, I got to say hi to him pregame, and then postgame I got to say something. He was just mobbed the entire time, pregame and postgame, so I got to say something to him real quick and say hi. But yeah, it's great seeing him. He's such an awesome guy.
That's kind of nice, catching up with your old bros.
Yeah. I mean, I've been around long enough where I pretty much know somebody on every team, so it's kind of cool to catch up with those guys, that I do know from different teams.
Are there a couple players on a couple of teams where, you don't really want to go say hi, but you feel like you have to?
Yeah, you pretend like you got to run and do something. Oh, yeah, we got a team meeting.
I'm shaking my head yes, but I'm saying no out loud.
Someday, way down the road when you retire, we'd love it if you'd share some of those stories. Do you know anybody on the Chiefs you're going to say hi to this weekend? Taylor Swift, maybe?
No, I don't know her. Don't know her.
See, here's the thing. Let me ask you, Andrew DePaola. Aren't you sick of the Chiefs? We're all sick of the Chiefs.
You know what's great is like I'm not a big social media guy. I'm not a big TV guy. So, like, I don't really get a lot of it. I've seen it. I know exactly what everybody's talking about. But, like, I just kind of stay in my lane and worry about my own stuff. And if everybody wants to be obsessed with the Chiefs, you know, hey, I'm not going to stop you. They're a great football team. They've been great for the past however many years. Sure.
I mean, it's not their fault. It's not their fault.
Can you imagine how nauseating it would be if they were in New York?
Oh, it would be horrible.
Gross.
Good point, Brad Ryder. But it's not their fault. It's just, at this point, I do not need to see any more ads with any more members of the Kansas City Chiefs. I do not need to have them on.
Yeah, like virtually every ad is either Kelsey or Mahomes.
Right.
And it's a Hy-Vee ad or it's something that, I mean, they just dominate the airways right now.
Yeah, one popped up the other day, and I was like, this Patrick Mahomes advertises with this company now, too?
He's with Subway. He's with Hy-Vee. He's everywhere.
I was at the Mall of America last week, and I walked by 3 stores where he was like a cardboard cutout posing for whatever they were selling.
Jerseys hanging in the window of the stores.
No, like one was sunglasses, another one was like some fancy shirt or something.
Andrew DePaola, have you ever dated a high-profile billionaire pop star?
Nope. There's not too many of them running around.
I bet you turn a lot of them down, though.
In my head.
Who would you choose? Let's say you had your pick of all the big.
You know, I'm probably going to get flack for this, and this is going to sound cheesy as all get up, but my wife, I'm not kidding, was my number one pick, and when we got back together, I knew it was game over.
All right, stop it.
That's so sweet.
I swear.
You got me.
I swear. We dated in high school.
Yeah.
And it was like young love back then, and like, I mean, she's just an amazing person. She's an amazing woman. And then, you know, we split up in college. We went our separate ways. We figured out who we were, and I was just like, man, if I ever got the chance to be with her again, like, I wouldn't screw this one up. And we got back together, and I was like, yep. We're going to get married. It's game over.
That's
cute. That is so sweet. Oh, number one pick.
What about this? You know, a lot of couples, even happily married ones like yourself, have a hall pass. You know, whether or not it's a joke. Do you guys each have a hall pass? I mean, my wife and I would never cheat on my wife. I also married the woman of my dreams. So, not really. So, hers, for example, is The Rock. Where if she ever had an opportunity, I'm cool with it. Mine, for example, is also The Rock.
Okay, all right.
Do you guys have something like that?
You know, it's funny. I knew her crush was... Oh, man, what's the... I'm blanking on his name right now.
Steve Buscemi.
It's the guy from that one motorcycle show.
Jesse James?
No, Sons of Anarchy guy.
The Sons of Anarchy guy, the main guy.
Charlie Hunnam?
Yep.
Tim Allen. What?
That's hers. That's
Charlie
hers.
Hunnam. Can you pull up? I don't know who he is. Can you pull up
a baddie?
Yep. Readjusting my list right now and pulling up Google Docs.
Charlie Hunnam.
Gorgeous man.
What's his name? Josh has shown me a picture. I'd never seen the guy in my entire life. Okay, so your wife had a crush on Charlie Hunnam.
I hope it's had. It might be has. I hope.
Hey, what about you? You got anyone?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know.
Well, let me throw this at you. Can your wife sing or dance?
Can she sing or dance?
Yeah,
she thinks she can.
Maybe she could become the next big thing in pop music.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe. Probably not, though. But yeah.
She could try.
Can she play any musical instruments?
No.
Guitar?
She knows how to push my buttons, though.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
You
filthy bastard.
She's listening, isn't she?
I don't know.
Well, we know your wife is, Brad. She's always keeping an eye on you, right, Brad Ryder?
She doesn't listen, no.
Well, let me ask you, Brad Ryder. If
Yeah.
you had your pick of all the hot pop stars out there, like the Taylor Swift situation with Andy Reid dating Taylor Swift.
Andy Reid.
What would you,
Yes.
who would you know what I said the other day? I'd go for that Shakira. I'd ask her out.
Well, your guy Jimmy Bottles is dating her.
Yeah, that's what I heard, but I'm just saying, in an imaginary world, in a perfect world, if I was a guy...
My wife knows my celebrity crush, so this isn't an easy one for
Who
me.
is it?
I'm not going to get in trouble with this one. Christina Applegate.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
Yeah.
And what's hers?
Me? No. oh, I thought you were talking about Christina. Who's Christina Applegate?
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
I don't know who hers is anymore. I think it's John Travolta. She's always talked about John Travolta.
Ah,
Yeah.
Vinny Barbarino.
Yeah.
Did you and your frat brothers used to sit around and watch Married with Children, and you watch Christina Applegate, how do you say her name, run around the...
Yeah, I mean, she became kind of mine as she got older. I don't know. In her 30s. She's kept getting better with age.
It's a pretty good damn answer.
Mm-hmm.
So Sunday afternoon, the Vikings and Chiefs. Yeah, and, talking about this Taylor Swift thing. I mean, I think a lot of us are hoping if we're watching the game at home, we don't get the same treatment that the Jets and Chiefs fans
Well,
got.
I think she's come out and said she's not coming to the game.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, thank God for that. Thank God for that.
We're not a glitzy enough city for her to come to. Apparently.
Which is why the line dropped to 3 points. Because the Chiefs were a heavier favorite, but once they heard that Swift wasn't coming, the line dropped.
It's crazy what that became.
Yes.
What that
Yeah.
relationship has become.
Absolutely insane.
So I got a question. If anyone that's listening right here that we're talking to had the opportunity to be with a celebrity of that stature, could you handle the attention?
Absolutely not. No.
Nope.
It's a little invasive, right?
Yeah.
It's a very good question.
I'm not convinced they're actually... I'm going to open a can of worms here. I'm not convinced that they're actually dating.
I don't think that's a can of worms. I think that's the prevailing theory.
I am with you. I think it's all
I want to see a
setup.
picture of them holding hands, or because I haven't seen that yet.
There's a picture of her basically
Careful.
sitting on his lap when they it was like the dinner that he took her and like his friends out to. She's like sitting on his lap, but I would like to see lips touching.
Yep.
Need to see lips touching.
I'm not convinced.
Now, Andrew DePaola, you just said careful. What should we be careful about?
I mean, like, just you're saying things. Maybe we shouldn't be saying them. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about it. Just like everyone's saying, well, I'm not convinced. Oh, all right.
I never knew all of you were so passionate about this.
So
Brad Ryder and
what's the
Ashley.
theory behind it? Like the NFL said, we need some help, or what?
Part of the script.
The script. Have you
I don't
seen
know.
Andrew? Have you seen any pages of the script?
Yes. They wrote her in after week 2.
Yeah, what a get for them.
Brad and Ashley, they want more proof. But yeah, Ashley told us a few days ago. You said you think this is all a gimmick to attract more women to professional football.
Yep, that's like the one. I mean, that's the demographic they're lacking in, right? Girls from like 15 to 25.
That's true.
What do you think about that theory, Andrew?
Wouldn't you want a group of women that are going to stick around if this relationship doesn't work out?
They will be sticking around if it doesn't work out. They will follow him for the rest of his life.
You think?
100%.
Why? Because they'll be mad at him for not allowing it to work out. Like if he breaks up with her,
A little bit of both.
there'll be rage.
Oh, wait till she writes a song about it.
Yep.
That's what you're waiting for.
I think it's hilarious that Travis Kelce is now just being referred to as Taylor's boyfriend. They don't even call him Travis Kelce anymore.
He is the best looking man she's ever been with. And a lot of Taylor Swift fans' opinions, in my opinion, because he's like the first man she's been with that really screams like, oh yeah, that's a man.
That he's actually a man.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't want you don't consider John Mayer a man's man, or Jake Gyllenhaal a man's man, or the scrawny guy from the 1975.
Andrew, some of these people are into this.
I can tell.
They're
you
dialed
can't
in.
help but not be dialed in. You
They're
know,
dialed
it's
in.
everywhere.
But that's a very good question that Andrew asked. If you were in the position of Andy Reid or Travis Kelce or whoever's dating Taylor Swift.
I don't think Andy Reid dating
Taylor Swift. See, now I heard it was Andy Reid. If you guys can throw, if you guys can throw around your theories of what really is going on, why can't I throw my theory of what's really going on here? Okay, but it's a good question. Could you handle that spotlight? I say yes. I like attention.
Yeah, you would love it.
Hell
You
yeah.
do
like attention.
You would thrive.
Well, come on, Wapple, right? I'm getting into every party in town. I'm hanging out with
You get to hang out with whoever you want.
Ryan Gosling or whoever the guy was that was also at the, I don't know who these celebrities are, but I'm hanging out with all the...
You can hang out with The Rock.
I was just going to say that, Josh. I'd get to meet The Rock probably and hook him up with you and your wife.
No, not my wife.
Who's to say you would like these people? Like when they're not who they're acting to be.
See, that's
say
a good
you're
point.
actually
That's a
going to
good
like
point.
them.
Andrew DePaola, I work in radio. You don't think I have experience accommodating people I don't like?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't care if I like these people. I just want to go to all these cocaine parties.
I think the one.
So I would say absolutely yes. I would embrace the situation.
Let me go at it from this perspective. So, Andrew, if she was dating a member of the Vikings, would it be a distraction in the locker room? Because I'm wondering if it's going to be a little bit for the Chiefs or if it is right now.
Ooh, that's a good question.
And a follow-up. Who on your team do you think could totally handle it? Like, who do you think could handle it the best?
Kirk Cousins.
So I would say I don't think it would be a distraction in the locker room.
Okay.
Especially if you're winning.
Yeah, winning cures a lot of things.
Sure.
Who on the team could handle it? Sheesh.
How about a guy like the young wide receiver whose name I can't think of?
Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, I mean, he seems like, man, he's built for that kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he's getting a ton of attention, so I think that's probably that would be nothing to him.
I would say Harrison Smith because nobody's going to mess with him.
No, he's a good-looking dude. I could see him in that same category.
There you go. Those are a couple good answers. Well, here's the deal, Depot. We got a bolt on you here, but it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, keep winning games, and we'd love to have you on, man.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll know at about the Sunday at about 3:30 if we're going to talk this week.
You said the quiet part out loud.
He did. He said the quiet part out loud. Keep winning. You can join us on Fridays.
Hey, more motivation. I'll take it.
That's right. Go out and get them on Sunday. We'll be watching, and thanks again.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Hey,
thanks.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Andrew DePaola joins us every Friday on the Half-Ass Morning Show. They got that 3:30 game. Oh, okay. Speaking of things we haven't done in a while, let me see if I can remember how this works. Purple Pick'em. Help me out if I get wacky here. What you want to do, this message is for our listening audience, what you want to do if you want to get involved in our Purple Pick'em contest, listen at 9 and 3. Listen for that keyword to text in. And then Wample pulls off his stocking cap. We throw all the names into his cap. We try to avoid the cooties, and we pick out a name, and we get the individual live on the air and get their predictions for Sunday's ball game. So I understand we have a guy by the name of Frank from Minneapolis on the line right now for Purple Pick'em. Frank, are you there?
I'm here.
What's going on, son?
I'm just at work, trying to work and do this same time.
You don't sound like a Frank.
Really? I'm a second generation Frank.
That's a beautiful thing.
Like a Frank Jr. I like it.
Man,
yeah,
really
well, technically the second on my actual birth certificate, a junior's. I don't know. It's just a thing my family always pointed out.
Well, that's
even.
I would say that's even more prestigious to be Frank the second.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Good for you. That's a great name. Here's the deal. Here's what we need from you. We need score predictions. Now, how about the score at halftime of that ball game on Sunday over at the new Metrodome?
All right. Well, for halftime, I'm going to go Kansas City 13, Minnesota 10.
13. I thought we'd bring it back. And the final, by damn final, Frank the second.
The final, I'm going to go with Kansas City 30, Minnesota 24.
Pretty good ball game. Pretty good ball game.
I think it's going to be a decent one, a little slow starting, a little colder. Minnesota should hang in there, but ultimately, they won't pull it through.
No, we know that. We all know that going into it. We do. Frank, part 2 is a realist. Here's the situation you're in. If you get one of these predictions correct, you'll win $1,000. If you smoke them both, you take home $100,000 and a trip to the championship game in February. I think they're playing it in Nevada. Thanks for listening and everything, and being our latest Purple Pick'em contestant. Yeah, have a wonderful weekend, Frank.
All right, thank you. You guys too.
Frank, part 2 is ready to roll. Dick Butkus, boys. He's a goner.
He's a goner.
Yeah. Very sad and kind of surprising that Dick Butkus would be gone so suddenly. He died suddenly in his home in Malibu yesterday afternoon, one of the greatest linebackers in NFL history. Yeah. He'll be remembered for by damn ever.
I would say he was the face of the NFL during that time period. It was a time for manly men, right? Because the game was violent. There were very few rules, and Dick Butkus was probably the most fierce and passionate player of his era. Played 9 seasons. Probably would have played more if he had not hurt his knee. Mm-hmm. But he embodied what the Chicago Bears were all about. I said this last night on the news. It's sad to think now that the 3 most important, iconic Chicago Bears of all time are now all gone.
All right.
Dick Butkus, Walter Payton, and Gale Sayers.
Oh, sure.
Those 3 guys are really what that franchise, even during the time they won the Super Bowl, still those 3 guys embodied what that franchise was all about.
I mean, I know Dick Butkus was 80 years old, but still, gone too soon, really.
Yeah.
And certainly that was the case for Sweetness and Gale Sayers. Gone way too soon.
Yeah, especially Peyton.
Yeah.
I looked it up this morning. He was the 3rd pick in the 1965 NFL draft. The Bears had 2 picks in that first round. Gale Sayers was chosen right after him. So imagine that. Took 2 Hall of Fame guys and back-to-back draft choices that year. When you watch the video of him, it's just, I don't know if you've heard his speech when they created a statue for him at the University of Illinois.
No, I did not hear his speech.
There's a part of the speech where, or not the speech, but it was a Q&A with a reporter. And basically Butkus said, I'm not really sure why they're doing this. I just did what they asked me to do here. Mm-hmm. I just love to kick the S out of people. Mm-hmm. He said it during the news conference. Just, in that Dick Butkus kind of way.
Yeah.
That's just what I did. It was nothing special. It was just who I was.
And the thing about Dick Butkus, he was just ahead of his time. And what I mean by that is he was just faster and stronger and meaner than anyone else out on the ball field.
Definitely the meaner part.
Well, he may have had a hard time playing today because he would have been almost too aggressive for some of the things that get flagged today.
It's funny you bring that up, Brad Ryder, because I've mentioned this before. It's interesting that the NFL has made film after film of Dick Butkus highlights celebrating how nasty he was on the field, stepping on guys' hands after the whistle,
twisting
their ankle, grabbing them by the nose, thumbing them in the eye, putting a thumb in there. And nowadays, the only time we see those types of videos is when a player is being suspended. It's a completely different operation now.
Absolutely.
Now the NFL, well, we don't even want you to see those videos.
Right.
Now players are shunned forever for the type of behavior that made Dick Butkus famous. At any rate, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's no question about it. It's too bad that the man has died so suddenly.
I do remember getting those NFL's hardest hits VHS tapes in the Sports Illustrated. You know, like once a year when you renew your subscription.
He's on drugs today.
You would get a video called like The Best of Thunder and Destruction, and which is all the NFL's hardest hits from the previous years.
Right. All right, real quick, because we got to get to this brawl. We're going to have a brawl between Brad and Randy. A huge weekend. Twins playing 2 playoff games in the divisional series against the Astros.
Well, we know the start times now.
Tomorrow's 3:30, Sunday 7 o'clock. Who's going to start on the bump tomorrow for the Twins?
Joe Ryan.
They said Joe Ryan, but then I saw this morning that wasn't necessarily locked in.
You know me. If it's me, if I'm making the call, I go Kente Maeda. I do. I like Joe Ryan. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think he's quite right, and I would go Kente.
I think they're leaning to Ryan. I think that's what everybody assumes it's going to be. But I saw something this morning that said there's still a chance it might be Ober or Maeda.
The Twins website hasn't updated it yet.
Okay. Golden Gopher football matches up with the number 2 team in the country tomorrow night at home on national television. Stupid Jim Harbaugh and the stupid Michigan. You guys know that whole gimmick. 6:30. I don't know how that's going to turn out. But
I don't either. It's on national TV. It's a national game. It's on NBC.
Well, it's good that the Twins game starts at 3:30. People.
Yeah, I mean the timing of the weekend is perfect.
Right.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
So there you go. It's a huge
the Vikings,
weekend.
of course, play at noon on Sunday. And
They
then
play
the
at
Twins don't
3:15, actually, Randy.
Oh, they do. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Where the hell?
Sorry.
I have
It's a later game.
Absolutely no idea where I put my dad fights.
Oh, it's a national game. That's
paperwork.
Yeah, national game.
You got it.
Here it is. Wapple, it's been a while, as you can tell. See if you can find that dad fights button for a pimp.
How about the Bears winning?
Nobody cares, Randy.
I was just going to say they snapped 14-game losing streak last night.
Yeah. What?
Pretty big win differential, too, in the score.
Well, Dick Butkus was looking over them last night.
How did your fantasy team do? No, I'm kidding.
Pretty good.
All right, Randy, you want to talk about the Bears winning last night?
I just say how ironic it was on the day that Dick Butkus passes away that the Bears actually were playing in prime time and, looked great last night.
Had a good showing.
They looked great last night.
We can talk about them real quick, okay? Because this is good stuff, and it won't be worth a pump on Monday. So the Bears, okay, despite winning last night, they have had a terrible start to their season.
Well, they hadn't won a game in a year.
No,
it was
exactly.
a 14-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Chicago, the Bears' social media people put together a cute little picture. What was this, a couple days ago, Josh?
Yeah.
Just to try to lighten the mood. Okay, we all know, Bears fans, that we suck. So they put a picture up of 5 players kind of dressed cute. I don't know if they're getting ready to get on the team plane or whatever they were doing, but 5 players kind of dressed snazzy. They looked like they were a band, like a boy band, and they're posing for a photo. And so the Chicago Bears social media dorks decided to make something cute out of it, and they asked Bears fans with that tweet, name this boy band. Uh-oh. And then they expected Bears fans, I don't know why they would, but they expected Bears fans to be cute with this. Fans took the opportunity to kick them around a little bit. So kind of like, what was the gimmick we were doing a couple days ago? Oh, Jimmy Butler's emo look.
Yeah.
Name his emo band.
Yeah.
This is kind of where Bears fans took it. So here we go. The picture of 5 Chicago Bears dressed cute, and the Bears asked their fans, name this boy band. Here's the route the fans took on Twitter. Instink. Out of sync. Maroon ON5. Zero direction. Earth, wind, and fire the head coach. No wins on the block. 98 losses. Boys to meh. LMFAO, new kids who can't block. And NWA, which stands for never winning anything.
Good.
Irvin Johnson absolutely blasted his Commanders on Twitter last night after the game, too.
Who, Magic?
Yes, he went on Twitter and he said they had no intensity, they had no fire. That's the reason why they lost.
All right.
Yeah.
I forgot Magic has a role in the Washington Commodores now. Okay, today is episode 100 plus 44 of the legendary Battle of Brilliance between Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. Ass Man versus Lonely Boy Part 1 effing 4-4, our weekly trivia GOAT rodeo. Although it's been a couple of weeks, this happened, that happened. Here's the deal. We know the Twins-Blue Jays series is over, with the Twins gaining a sweep over the Jays. Sure, we're more than excited to move on to the next round and hopefully kick the Houston Astros square in the penis, but not before we get a cheap shot in on those filthy Canadians. Today, Dad Fights 100 plus 44, the Canada Sucks edition. We've gone with the Wisconsin Sucks edition once before. We've even boned ourselves with a Minnesota Sucks edition. Now it's Canada's turn. Today, this morning, the two of you will be quizzed on the this and the that, the hows and the whys, the people and the places and the things that has made Canada suck eggs over the years.
Oh, gosh.
Could be any damn thing. Listen up and pay attention to the questions, and you'll do just fine. The Canada Sucks edition. She's a head-to-head kind of a scene. What you want to do is shout out the correct answer as soon as it hits you. Correct answers, you will hear the bell. That means you get 1 point. Incorrect, what are we doing, Wapple?
What do you want? I got the Costco intercom fart like usual.
Sure.
I also have that jet scream guy.
Jet scream guy? I don't know what that means.
From the news. We were going to use him last week. I'll give you a preview.
I like that one. Change it up.
That's it.
Oh, this is the man who was describing what a jet sounded as it crashed in his neighborhood.
Yeah, this is not the New York Jets. This
Right.
is this was from a news story.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I don't see why we wouldn't go with that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
If you're incorrect, that's what you'll hear. You'll receive no points. You can steal a point if your opponent F's up and answers incorrectly. 10 challenges plus a cute little tiebreaker if needed. Our intro is going to be handled by DJ Jesus.
What's up, my brother and sisterhood? This is Tully Stockton and this Jesus, live from the worst suburb in the Twin Cities, Burnsville.
Oh, no.
But when I think about it, I suppose it's better than Bubble Butt's fantasy picks are being from Clara City. I hate it here more than Randy Shaver hates going to the state fair.
I hate it here.
All right, Randy, put down your cribbage board and make sure both of you change your diapers because I don't want to hear any crying or smell any stink when the dementia makes you forget all your answers.
Brad, come take your pills.
Psst, Brad, come here. Let me tell you a secret. This is all we hear when you communicate your answers. It's hard to believe you're a director of communication.
Bada bop boom pow.
All right, ass man and boy. This is Sad Fights. 69 plus 69 plus 6.
Wonderful.
That dude's good.
How did we get so lucky with these?
I know.
DJ Jesus, thank you very much. For our next Dad Fights intros down the line, week to week, we could use some live bodies who want to get involved. Send an email to hams93x@gmail.com. Did I read that correctly?
You sure did.
Mm-hmm. Give us your name, give us your this, your that, your phone number, and we'll get her fired up. So all things Canada, the Canada Sucks edition. All things Canada and all things that involve Canadian sucking.
You
For
boys good to
Randy
go?
Shaver and Brad Ryder. I think I'm
Everybody
ready to go.
ready? Everybody's good
Sure.
to go.
Long friggin' day already, hasn't it,
Tee it
Josh?
up.
Been a long day.
Anybody have to pee? Do we need to pee first?
Well, I always
Actually,
do.
I do, but I don't think we have time.
You're going to have to hold it then.
Just go, man.
Nobody rips Canada better than Trey Parker and Matt Stone on this animated Comedy Central show set in a fictional
South Park.
Colorado town.
Nice.
South Park, the show built on the premise of they built the premise of their first movie around the U.S. declaring war on Canada and even got an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song with Blame Canada.
1-0 Brad Ryder. Yeah, I could watch all of their anti-Canada bits on South Park. It's great. Isn't the little tiny kid, Ike, wasn't he born in Canada? He's a Canadian?
Yes.
There you go.
And you can always tell because their faces are split in half.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, the
Bounce up and
Canadians.
down.
Yeah.
Why
is that?
I don't know, like a cracked egg.
Yeah.
1-0 Brad Ryder. Canada Sucks edition of Dad Fights. Even when we here in the United States are nice to Canada, they find a way to F it up. Like when we gave them a pair of NBA franchises. Sure, the Toronto Raptors turned out
Vancouver.
That's great. I got rules.
I see where Randy Shaver was going with that. He decided to jump in and try to answer early. Unfortunately, Randy, that is incorrect. Now I will read the remainder of the question to Brad Ryder, or I'll start it over again, even here in the United States when we're nice to Canada. They find a way to F it up, like when we gave them a pair of NBA franchises. Sure, the Toronto Raptors turned out all right, but the Vancouver Grizzlies did not. One of their big draft busts was when they drafted this Oklahoma State big man, 6th overall in 1995.
Bryant Reeves.
That is right. Big country, Bryant Reeves. And Dana, you and I are going to talk after the program for writing an anti-Bryant Reeves question for Dan. I loved Big Country. I loved that guy because he made me a lot of money.
How so?
When he brought his Oklahoma State Cowboys to the Final Four in 1995, or 4, whatever it was, I was the only swinging D that picked him to go that way. I won my bracket, or whatever you call it. I won the thing, the March Madness.
Yeah.
Big Country, and great stories about him. You know, the chewing gum story.
Oh, you should tell that story again.
One of the greatest stories
heard
about any athlete ever. So Bryant Reeves, farm kid, had never left his hometown, growing up in Oklahoma. And the legendary coach of Oklahoma State, Bobby Sutton. I think it was Bobby, wasn't it, boys? Don
Eddie
Sutton.
Sutton was the last.
That's
Eddie
it.
Sutton. There you go.
Sutton.
The legendary coach of Oklahoma State, Eddie Sutton, wants Bryant Reeves to come play college basketball there. So he puts Bryant on an airplane. He and Eddie, I believe they were flying from Big Country, Bryant Reeves' hometown, to the Oklahoma State University campus for this, what do they call it in the business? A visit.
Official visit.
Official visit. And it's Reeves' first time on an airplane. And he turns to Eddie Sutton and he says, "My ears are popping terribly. What do I do about this?" And Eddie Sutton says, "Try some chewing gum." So Eddie Sutton, a couple minutes later, gets up, goes to take a squeege. He comes back and sits down next to Bryant Reeves, and Reeves is stuffing chewing gum in his ears.
I mean, there is a little bit of logic in that, I guess.
I understand.
Making that confused there.
Yeah, the Vancouver Grizzlies never really caught on, and they just never had great seasons. It says here in the strike-shortened 50-game 1998 season, they put together a piss-poor 8-42 record.
That's tough.
2-0 Brad Ryder.
Despite its American name, one of the most polarizing pizza toppings was actually created by a Canadian resident. It's not the Canadian bacon on a Hawaiian pizza that people pick on.
Pineapple.
That was Brad.
It's this tropical fruit. Pineapple, that's correct.
You were close, Randy.
I love Hawaiian pizza. I don't understand the controversy. That stuff is good.
It's funny how there's some people that just absolutely despise
Just
it.
like the
Very
salt
passionate.
and sweet. Yeah.
The idea of pineapple on a pizza comes from Sam Panopoulos, who lived in London, Ontario. He was the first to make this pizza pairing at his restaurant in 1962.
Nice work, Brad Ryder.
I had pineapple and jalapenos on a pizza once.
How was
Yum,
that?
that sounds amazing.
It is. It was really good. It was kind of that combo, like we were saying, sweet and gotcha.
I'd imagine that would give Nick diarrhea.
Jeez.
Something fierce.
Just thinking of it gives me diarrhea.
I mean, well, then again, you know, a peanut butter sandwich on wheat bread gives me some days. Brad Ryder, could when you were eating this pineapple and jalapeno pizza, could you hear your toilet crying?
The toilet's moving out.
Could you hear your toilet saying, "Oh no"?
Here we go again.
From a distance?
Make sure we had a couple extra rolls in the bathroom that day.
Is this kind of a reoccurring theme? I know we missed a couple weeks of dad fights, but it seems like this is a reoccurring theme. Brad Ryder takes a commanding lead early in these matchups, it seems to me.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah,
that
and then
way.
Randy tends to come back. Yeah.
We'd love a comeback, Randy.
Well, I'll give it my best.
Randy's just polite. That's all it is.
3-0 here in favor of Brad. Here's our next question in the Canada Sucks edition of Dad Fights. And I love this question. I bug you guys all the time about this. Canadians collectively had to absorb a massive shot to their egos when Team USA beat their asses in the 1996 World Cup of Hockey. The top point getter in the tournament for Team USA was this undersized sniper who played a little college hockey up there in Duluth, Minnesota. Duluth, Minnesota.
Brett Hull.
Good one.
I like that.
There you go, Randy Shaver. There you go, ass man.
You had to separate that. All you had to say was Duluth, Minnesota, and that worked.
You are correct, Brett Hull. And I won't get all mental telling all the details of this series again. I'll just say, again, that it's the greatest hockey tournament that nobody ever talks about. Even fellow hockey fans. I don't know why the accomplishment of that team is so overlooked. It's strange to me. Hatcher with a shot, save, rebound, score! Amonte has broken the tie! Do I have to do my Doc Emmerich imitation again to try to get someone inspired to look back at 3-1 Brad Ryder?
It's well known that the Montreal Expos got boned by the 1995 Major League Baseball strike. Before the August strike, the Expos were on pace for a 106-win season behind a potent offense, including this young future Hall of Fame
Guerrero.
ace. As you just heard, that is incorrect,
How
Brad.
did the question wrap up again?
Including this young future Hall of Fame ace.
Oh.
Ace is in hitter or pitcher?
Pitcher.
Oh, Pedro Martinez.
Oh, wait, yeah, can I give him that? I guess.
You can't give him a clue.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, but read the whole question. Read the whole question again. Read the whole question again.
No, you can't give him a clue.
You guys, this is the Canada. You have to understand something, Randy Shaver. This is the Canada Sucks edition of Dad Fights. Canadians are very polite. They give clues.
Yeah, it's up to you, Wapple.
Because the first part of the question almost made it seem like it was a hitter, and then you said
it doesn't
ace.
matter.
So that's why I was
you
confused.
have to determine it, Brad.
He
They
said-
can't give you the.
Andrew Wapple with the final ruling on this question. Are you giving it to Brad or not?
The question is thrown out.
Oh!
Thrown out. Thrown out.
He threw it out.
It's gone. There it goes.
Throw it out again, Wapple.
Yeah. Now spit on it. Yeah. Spit on it again.
That was a sneeze.
I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but the question did kind of say a hitter implied a hitter in
How
the
did
first
it
part of the question.
imply a hitter?
It only implied that because I said my answer too soon.
No.
Josh didn't finish.
Okay, it's well known that the Montreal Expos got boned by the 1995 Major League Baseball strike. Is that why? Because you heard strike?
No.
Before the August strike, the Expos were on pace for a 106-win season behind this potent offense. Behind a potent offense.
A potent offense.
And that's what I said. That's when I said my answer.
Finish the question.
And that's why go ahead.
Including this young future Hall of Fame ace.
Right.
All right, now I kind of see where Brad Ryder's
now
going
I do
with
too.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you were talking about a potent offense.
I thought you said you weren't going to make a big deal out of it.
Well, now that I heard the question again,
the question has been thrown out by Wapple,
geez.
so it doesn't matter anymore.
She gone.
It doesn't matter.
The question could have been more clear.
It
Let's
doesn't.
move on.
It doesn't
Let's
matter.
move on.
I don't want to
Let's move
blame anybody.
I don't want to be here all morning. Let's move on.
3-1 Randy.
No, it's 3-1 Brad.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. I do that all the time.
No, Wapple, Brad or Randy?
You know what? It's Randy. Randy's got it.
Yeah.
3-1 Brad. Here we go.
That was painful.
That was fun.
Canada pumps out some hot babes now and again. But one in particular doesn't have the greatest taste in husbands. Name the Canadian actress and model who can say she was married to not only legendary numbskull Kid Rock, but also the most attention-starved 60-year-old of all time by the name of Tommy Lee.
Pamela Anderson.
Now it's 4-1.
Her name. Couldn't think of her name.
That's right, Brad Ryder. I feel bad for Pam Skis.
Yeah, me too. Especially after watching that documentary.
Right.
And let me tell you something.
The world owes her an apology.
And let me tell you one more thing on Pam. Barbed Wire is not that bad of a movie.
I haven't seen it.
I like Barbed Wire.
It's been a number of years. I remember getting my hands on a VHS copy and just kind of fast-forwarding around to some Slex scenes.
You did what?
I got a copy of it in like 5th grade on VHS, and I didn't watch the whole thing. I just kind of fast-forwarded around to
Of course you did.
bathtub scenes.
The sex
and,
scenes.
Yeah.
There's sex in that movie?
Yeah, believe it or not, there was a couple of little bit.
It is now 4-1 Brad Ryder.
Finish him.
Oh, he can finish the deal.
All right. By the way, licensed therapist has checked in and offered his services to come mediate and talk it out if we ever have to.
We don't need a mediator. We got Wapple.
That's true. Brad, I hear what you're saying, and I understand you.
Hey, it's thrown out. It's thrown out.
The level of disdain for these Canadians is so passionate that in 2011, over 50,000 people signed a petition to have the Rockers removed as the halftime act during a Thanksgiving game between the Lions and the Packers. The game featured Matt Stafford and Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, and the halftime
Nickelback.
band was Nickelback.
You win. Nice. Just tore it up, Brad.
Yes, there was controversy in today's Dad Fights episode, part 100 plus 44, the Canada Sucks edition. Brad might be mad at us for a little bit.
Nah, I'm fine.
You're doing okay now?
I'm fine. 5-1 is fine.
You got the win by a final of 5-1. Oh, we were also going to ask you some more hockey questions. We were going to ask you about Little Debbie's snack cakes. We were going to ask you about Ben Johnson. Had we gotten that far?
Sure.
Ben Johnson, that's a good story.
100 meters, yeah.
For a brief moment in the late 80s, Canada thought they could go ahead and brag about producing the fastest man in the world, Ben Johnson. He even beat legendary American sprinter Carl Lewis in the 1908, Olympics.
Yeah.
But then a couple days after he won the race, he pissed a bunch of steroids.
Till they looked into his yellow eyes.
That didn't last long.
Right?
It was a
Look
couple
into
of
his
days.
yellow eyes.
But you know, when I was reading about this in research of the Ben Johnson thing, in considering it for a Canada Sucks edition of Dad Fights, I never knew this. After that 100-meter race in the Olympics, and they found all those steroid chunks in Johnson's urine. You know, they found it in Carl Lewis's urine too, according to what I read. And 4 other sprinters from other parts of the world who were involved in that Olympic 100-meter. So track and field enthusiasts refer to that as the dirtiest race in history.
Yeah.
Everybody urinated steroids when it was over. I'll be damned. Well, there you go.
Randy, we have the great pleasure of getting to see your wife today. Did you know that? Nick and I were
I did know that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing her today.
She's on a reconnaissance mission.
Are we in trouble?
Are you in trouble?
Are we going to be all right?
I would say that you're the least person that could be in trouble, Josh.
Thank goodness.
She loves
digs
Josh.
us.
She loves some Josh.
Well, yeah, and that doesn't bother me because I don't like her that much either. If you're trying to hurt my feelings, I don't care.
Oh, she's so excited you got married, Nick. She can't wait to start. She wants to hear about all the details.
I bet she does.
She texted me. She's got. She's excited.
The truth is, your old lady's one of my favorite people in the entire world.
Oh,
and
she's fun to hang around.
But I am a little concerned about one thing. Once she and Josh start talking, I might die.
I could see that. This is a true story. Do you mind me telling what you told me earlier this morning?
No, we got to put a 60-minute time limit on this.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Nick said, "I'm giving you a time limit."
Yeah.
So yeah, he's already. He put that out there.
But here's the deal: give the time limit to her too.
Well, yeah. I'm going to make it very well known that you two have an hour.
Yeah, that's the first thing out of his mouth when he walked in the studio today.
Trust me, I know how that works.
Oh, yeah. Cubby's got a problem. Your wife has a problem sometimes. Conversations can go on for days. We'll see you boys on Monday. Enjoy all the big ball games, will you?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
A lot to talk about on Monday.
Yeah.
We'll have a blast. We'll talk to you next week.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
When you get married, I'm letting you know, no one gives but you. And when you get remarried, then people really don't, except you. No one needs to hear your backstory and speeches given. It's so boring. Have a cap, like no longer than a minute. No one cares about your love story. I know it's hard to hear.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
8:30. Welcome back to the Programski, our Friday edition of the program. I'll tell you what right now. We were having one hell of a spirited edition of Dad Fights a few minutes ago, weren't we, Cubby?
Yeah,
that was
boy,
intense.
They're competitive.
They are.
Take it serious.
They are. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder battling it out in our Dad Fight segment.
I'm glad they care.
Yeah, they do. They do. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Definitely.
It was the Canada Sucks edition of Dad Fights. We were poking a little fun at those filthy Canadians. Nickelback came up, famous Canadian rock band, Nickelback. The ultimate band, the ultimate rock band of the last 10 years that people just absolutely love to hate. No doubt about it. We've covered that up and down. Loudwire.com recently put together a list of bands people make you feel bad for loving. And Nickelback made that list.
Nickelback actually has a movie coming out called Hate to Love about just this phenomenon. Like
really?
all of a sudden they became the band everybody either pretended or legitimately hated.
Right. It became a social media craze, you know.
Yep.
If you wanted to, if you had a little trouble feeling like you belong, jump in with the anti-Nickelback people. Then you've got an identity. That's simply what it became. This is really interesting. A movie?
Yeah, it's called Hate to Love. I think it debuted like at some of those big film festivals.
South by Southwest.
Is that what it was? Yeah, I don't know which one it was, but it was they debuted it a while ago, but it's going to come out either in theaters or on demand at some point, either later this year or early next year.
That's really interesting. I mean, if you truly hate Nickelback, you hate Nickelback. Fair enough. I hate a lot of things too. But there was a lot, we've covered this up and down. There were a lot of people who just kind of jumped on board. Hey, I want in on this. Who are we hating today? Oh, Nickelback? Yeah, sure, they suck. It became a thing. Loudwire's list of bands that people make you feel bad for loving. Any come to mind right away? Are there any bands that you have loved in your lifetime that people made you feel bad for digging them?
Yep.
Ridiculed you up and down.
Couple of them.
Well, of course, for me and Josh, I bet the list is extremely long.
Yeah.
Because just about every 80s hard rock band has been thrown under the bus and left for dead. They're the most talentless group of hacks. They only care about their appearance, up and down.
I think, I don't want to upset anybody, but I think there's plenty of bands today that couldn't hold the jocks of some of these bands we're going to talk about. Musicianship-wise, for sure.
No doubt.
And so a couple of them would be, this is one I get crap about liking, is Warrant. I think Janie Lane is a great singer. Okay, not the greatest musicianship in the band, certainly, but Janie Lane I thought did a really good job, and at times she could be a great songwriter.
You know what? I was in on the anti-Warrant gimmick for quite a few years.
I get it. You know, the matching outfits, the choreographed Heaven video, stuff like that. A lot of ballads.
That's what killed me right from the get-go for Warrant, was in 1989 when they came out with the Down Boys video and the Heaven video. They all wore matching pretty white outfits. They had synchronized movements. Right away I thought, this is terrible. But I was wrong. When you listen to their first couple 3 records, they really have some great songwriting. And, you know, had it been dummied down a little bit, you know, just the overall bombast of it all, I think they would have been taken a lot more seriously.
And Cherry Pie didn't help them.
Oh, that destroyed them.
You know what? And Janie Lane, their lead singer, he would agree. He hated that song. He didn't want that song on the record, nothing.
It absolutely, it made them, and at the same time, it murdered them. I was in on the anti-Warrant thing. We could go up and down, yes, about the 80s rock bands.
Winger would be another one.
Without question.
I mean, there's not a lot of guitar players that could match up with Kip Winger. I'm sorry, with Reb Beach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kip Winger, great bass player, great singer. He still can sing today.
That's something you have to factor in, I think. Not only were they underrated in their prime, they can still go out there and outplay most of your favorite bands.
They can.
They just smooth can.
Whether or not you like their music or not, I mean, those guys are so talented.
You and I get our balls busted a lot about Mr. Big.
That's for people who have only heard To Be With You.
Right.
That's another band where it's a clinic. It's not a concert, it's a clinic when you go see them. Each one of them masters of their instrument.
We've got a listener in our audience that said just seen Nickelback last night at the Fargo Dome. They blew the roof off the mofo.
Oh, I didn't know
They're awesome in concert.
They
I've probably seen I've seen them maybe 8 times. They're awesome.
Frame Electric Jesus says he gets a lot of hell for loving Steely Dan. So here's the list.
Do people rip on Steely Dan? It sounded like I was being sarcastic. It's a legitimate question. I haven't heard that.
I don't know.
I have not heard that kind of talk either. Let me roll through some of these bands from Loudwire's list, and we can go this way with it and that way with it. Some of this I'm all in on ripping these bands. Some of them. Limp Bizkit, I don't get it. I never did. I don't get it. But they made the list. They say about Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst apparently wanted a band name that would repel people, so he came up with Limp Bizkit.
Our regular doctor guest, Dr. P, loves Limp Bizkit.
I don't mind them.
They had a big run of popularity in the late 90s, early 2000s, and were even a punchline during that span.
I liked the cover of Faith when that came out.
Oh, that was cool.
Ugh.
You didn't like that one?
No.
This probably won't come as a shock to the 4 of you, but in 8th grade, I would dress as I'd dress as Fred Durst for Halloween.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I can buy that.
I've done a lot of things over the years just for the nookie.
Yeah? Do you have any examples that come top of mind?
It's been my motivation for a lot of things over the years.
I've never understood isn't the word. The rap rock thing has never appealed to me, even a little bit.
Even Body Count?
Jesus. Body Count.
Ice-T's band?
Yes, I remember them. All right, some of these you have to help me because I'm just not wildly familiar. Another band that made the list of bands that people make you feel bad for loving, My Chemical Romance.
Wow. I haven't heard people rip on them.
I think it's more just they're kind of like the front, kind of the face of some of that angsty emo era. And so I think just people who dislike that kind of music just use them as the example of who they hate.
I think they're very talented.
They're good.
Absolutely love them.
Me too.
One of my favorites.
I'm unfamiliar. I mean, maybe if you played me a song, maybe I'd recognize it.
I mean, just like some of the compositions, the way they use their guitar players, those guys are very talented.
Tell me if you agree then, you folks who follow My Chemical Romance. Here's what Loudwire says. They say My Chemical Romance could be considered the pioneers of mainstream emo.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they say that subgenre, emo, strikes fear into the hearts of many. Many dismissed them because of the emo tag and eyeliner, but My Chemical Romance will go down in history as an iconic rock band?
Yeah, when they
I'd say so, yeah.
When they came back a couple of years ago, it was a huge effing deal because they were gone for a long time. And when they came back, that was just a mad scramble to get tickets. Obviously not at Taylor Swift level, but just people were very, very excited to throw on the eyeliner and be young again.
Those tickets were expensive, too.
They were.
All right, we're going to keep dipping back into the 80s rock pile here because they are, like we already stated, a genre that gets picked on a lot from people who have no idea what they're talking about. But I'll go along with this one. Poison was garbage. They were a garbage band.
I liked them at the time. But since I've listened to them, there's some distance from that era, I agree.
All right,
and it's too bad because they seem like such nice guys.
They are very nice guys. And maybe I shouldn't just flat out say garbage. Of course, they came up with a couple of catchy, hooky tunes. There's no question about it. And your guy, C.C. DeVille, could play the guitar.
At times, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he deserves as much hate as he gets.
It was just...
Do you like Fallen Angel? I always thought that was a really good song.
Well, I'll tell you this much. The guitar solo in Fallen Angel is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is. It's beautifully done.
That's, unless I'm forgetting an obvious one, I think that's my favorite Poison song.
They have a couple of hooky tunes. I shouldn't go too crazy here, but here's what it says about Poison for a lot of fans. There was glam rock, which was fine, and then there was Poison. The band's image towed the line so hard that at first glance, many thought the band was comprised entirely of women. And there's absolutely no question about it. When I first saw the record Look What the Cat Dragged In the record store, I thought they were women. Same thing.
Like Bobby Dahl? Who specific, or Ricky Rocket? Who was the one that looked the most like a woman to you? Do you remember?
I would say probably Bobby Dahl.
Bobby Dahl. Yes,
Yeah.
for me too.
And
I thought Bobby Dahl was a woman.
And I have to give them credit that I don't think they've ever taken themselves too seriously. And you probably remember this from this, was it a Poison Behind the Music episode on VH1 where Bobby Dahl was joking around about how they were heading out, this is 20 years ago, they were heading out on tour. So he's got to end the interview. He's got to get home and relearn those complicated bass lines for the upcoming tour.
That's pretty funny.
You know, when it was all just ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. You know, it just...
That band was huge. Holy heck.
They were. There was no doubt about it. I saw them a couple times when they were just starting out, and it was mayhem.
Yeah, I saw them as well.
All right, help me out with this. Good Charlotte. Bands that make people feel make you feel bad for loving. Good Charlotte, okay. Anyone? I don't know much about them.
They were big in middle school. I can't even. Yeah, I can't. I mean, they're a rock band, but it was kind of. I don't know. How would you describe them, Ashley?
I don't need just another middle school band.
Isn't the singer married to Cameron Diaz?
Yeah.
Benji Madden. Yeah, you guys just talked about him a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm. Poop Pumping Jesus had mentioned, he texted in Good Charlotte a while ago. He said, I love him. Many people don't, and I get so much crap.
I never got crap for that.
Poop Pumping Jesus.
Maybe because I was younger, but...
There were plenty of dudes who thought that a band, speaking of Good Charlotte, the article here from Loudwire says there were plenty of dudes who thought that a band with such a large female fan base couldn't possibly be punk. But their dedication to their craft was unwavering, and now they are well respected. Okay. Creed.
Yeah, that's a big one via text.
A lot of Creed jokes.
Yeah, I don't get the hype.
You don't get the hype or the get them getting ripped on?
I don't get the hype of Creed.
They were huge for a little bit. I got a buddy that absolutely loves them, and he's unashamed. He doesn't care what anybody thinks.
I lent my Creed CD to a friend in 8th grade, and I never got it back. And if I ever see that kid again, by God, I'm getting my CD back.
You like Creed?
Talking about Creed makes me. It reminds me of the number one band that I hate, and I know people give me crap for hating, but then they also give people crap for liking them too much. It's Tool.
I've never heard anybody diss Tool, to be honest with
Really?
you.
I feel like
I think you'd be murdered.
Maybe it's a younger person thing.
So wait a minute.
I don't know
I got
anybody
lost
around
there.
my age that likes Tool.
I got lost. You're saying you hate Tool?
I absolutely hate them.
Yeah, I really don't like Tool. I'm with
awful.
Ashley.
Wow, I've always kind of seen Tool as one of those bands where either you are completely obsessed with or you just have no real opinion on them.
That would be me. I haven't listened to much of them.
Same here. I couldn't name. If you put on Tool right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
I've come close to death a few times, and one of them is Tool related. Nick was there. We were at a bar with Jordan Parisi, friend of the show, and he is the biggest Tool fan I've ever met.
Oh God, yes he is.
Loves Tool, and he was talking about this was shortly before one of the times they're coming to town. He's talking about them, and he's like, "What do you guys think of Tool live?" And I said, "Well, I've never actually seen them live," and it was like a record scratch. Dead silence for, 15 seconds as he's staring me in the eyes, and I thought he was going to murder me.
He looked at you as if you were a madman.
Yeah, he couldn't figure out, are you a human being? You've never seen Tool live?
He friggin' leads the charge on friggin' Tool. Jordan Parisi. Now, Jordan will begin crying over the story of what he had for lunch. He's a very emotional guy.
He is.
Jordan will get emotional talking about what he had for lunch, but when he was talking about how much he loves Tool, he was ready to break down in tears.
Yeah. Yeah, I've met plenty of, Pablo, our afternoon guy Pablo is a very passionate Tool fan, and I thought nobody could be a bigger fan than Pablo. Pablo is not a fan compared to Jordan Parisi.
No, he's not. Jordan would throw himself in front of a train if Tool and if Tool walked up to Jordan and said, "Kill," he would do it.
Yeah.
He would do it. Back to Creed. I didn't listen to much of their stuff. I know a couple of their songs. What I can tell you about Creed, I love their big bass sound. They have a big, fat bass sound that I've enjoyed but I've faked an allegiance with Creed a few times just to play the heel.
Sure.
They've made some catchy songs. Five Finger Death Punch is a band that people make you feel bad for loving.
I've never been made. No one's ever made me feel bad for liking them.
That is another band with very talented musicians. Their guitar players are really, really good. You know, this whole thing started with Nickelback, right? People, they're the big joke. You know, maybe not as much as it used to be, but certainly they still kind of get it.
Yeah.
That band live, it's one of the better bands live. The way they sound, their guitar tone is so chunky. The drums are huge.
Great sound.
I saw them the last time they were here. They were incredible.
Great live sound.
One of the best live shows I've ever seen.
Stained is in here, and I'll admit I'd never been my style.
Yeah, I don't get why people
Never
like
been my
Stained.
style.
Oh, my girlfriend absolutely.
Oh, okay. I thought I knew someone that really loved Stained.
Yep.
That's just so.
You know who loves
voice.
Stained?
So bizarre.
My mother-in-law.
Oh.
She absolutely loves Stained. It's her favorite band.
Yeah, Stained and Matchbox 20 is my girlfriend's favorites.
She just loves those
Dude,
90s bands.
I'm going to be completely honest. Until right now, this moment, I didn't know that Aaron Lewis was the lead vocalist for Stained, because I love Aaron Lewis's like separate stuff when it's just him.
Wapple, we need to lobotomize your girlfriend and have her start over again. Her two favorite bands are Stained and Matchbox 20.
Yep. She loves the 90s.
Good Lord. Striper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's stupid.
Dude, that's dumb. That's so dumb.
People will make you feel bad for loving Striper.
Dude, they are an awesome Christian rock band. They bring it.
They're an awesome band.
They are.
Christian or not.
Yeah.
I love their sound and always have.
And that's another band. You've got dual guitar players, and it's not just there's a rhythm guitar player. Both of them can play, the lights out. Does that make sense?
Yes. I don't care how old I get. You play me the intro to You make my life complete.
Calling on you?
Calling to you or you play me the intro to Calling to You and I have chills up my friggin' spine.
Oh, I absolutely love that song.
Big drum sound.
What about Soldiers Under Command?
Oh, dude, it's all good. I mean, terrific. The big drum sound. Their listener texted in and said that they got beat up in junior high for loving the Bee Gees.
Really?
Let me tell you something.
There's nothing wrong with the Bee Gees.
They're one of the greatest bands to ever live. If you don't understand how unbelievably talented the Bee Gees were, then you just don't get it. You just don't get it.
You know what band Firefighter Jesus likes? Finger Bang from South Park.
Oh!
They had a couple of hits. Finger Bang.
I mean, we could go on, especially back to the 80s rock and the 70s and 80s glam rock. I mean, a couple bands that come to mind for me that people make you feel bad for loving. Trust me, I know. Most of my adult life, I have been wildly dedicated to Kiss. And I have gotten grief since I was 5 years old for loving Kiss. I don't love them so much anymore. But, you know what I mean? Kiss, I love their early stuff. I mean, they'll always be my number one favorite band. And the makeup and the raunchy lyrics and the simplicity of their music just rubs people the wrong way. Twisted Sister, same thing. There's something about makeup bands for sure that people just don't want to take them seriously because they put a little makeup or a mask on their face.
This text is correct, and I should have brought this up with Creed. Mark Tremonti, again, another great guitar player.
The guy he's brilliant on that damn thing.
He is.
Sexual Chocolate featuring Randy Watson. There's all kinds of bands that people will make you feel bad.
You guys smell that? It smells bad out here, too. I'm starting to think this whole town smells like doo-doo.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, we were talking about bands that people make you feel bad for loving. That's what we were talking about a few minutes ago. It was fun. We were not talking about the most overrated bands of all time, but now that I've brought it up, I'm going to say it again. Guns N' Roses is by a landslide the most overrated rock band ever. We could all live to be 1,000. And there would never be another band more overrated than Guns N' Roses. A couple listeners texted that in, so I wanted to echo that. I truly feel that deep down in my heart. We've been shining the spotlight on Minnesota's military members on Fridays around here the last couple of months. It's been a blast, sharing some stories and whatnot. If you have a deserving veteran or active duty service member you'd like us to highlight, tell us about them at 93x.com. We'll share their stories on Friday mornings and make a donation to Folds of Honor in their name. It's all sponsored by Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Today, we get to talk to a young fella, Sergeant Trace Smith, a.k.a. Overhand Bowling Jesus. Good morning, sir.
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Morning. Thank you. Very well. How
We're
about
doing
yourself?
great. I recognize your Jesus name.
Yep.
Overhand Bowling Jesus. There's got to be a story behind that, for God's sake. Did you get in trouble at the bowling alley?
No, I actually stole it from a good friend of mine named Walter. So I promised I'd tell you guys about that.
I dig it. Well, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you. Do
you even know who nominated you?
Oh, yeah, my girlfriend Bailey did.
That's right, Bailey. Here's what she said. I want you to, if it doesn't embarrass you too much, Trace.
No, please go ahead.
Here we go. Here's what your girlfriend Bailey had to say on 93X.com. Trace joined the Marines right out of high school and was on 2 deployments. He was on active duty for 4 years and is now on his 2nd year in the Marine Corps Reserves. Some of the countries he visited. Rate him on a scale of 1 to 10 as I go through them. Would you mind that, Trace?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Kuwait.
1. Absolutely 1.
Okay. Jordan.
1 again.
Okay. Thailand.
Oh, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I figured it was going to go up.
Everybody seems to love Thailand.
Yep, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean there, man.
Just beautiful and fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can drink for almost next to nothing.
I always hear. I knew that number was going to skyrocket from 1. Malaysia.
2.
Okay, and finally, at least from what your girlfriend Bailey mentioned, Guam ski.
Oh, absolutely 10. So beautiful there.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't think of that.
Bailey goes on to say that you were an infantryman by trade, but did several interesting side jobs throughout your career, and one of these is really fascinating. I know Cubby wants to go after you for one of these side jobs because you seem very interested when we were talking about it yesterday, Josh. You were involved in prisoner transport.
Yep, that's correct. I would have to transport prisoners around Camp Pendleton.
That must have been something to experience.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're complete bastards for sure.
Oh, really? Are you able to share any stories? Anything stand out?
Well, one guy got me in trouble, actually. So he said he needed to go to the bank because his debit card got stolen or something. And so we weren't supposed to bring him there without permission, but we kind of just made it an executive decision to just go ahead and let's do it. Well, we got there, and turns out one of the tellers was his ex-wife and had a restraining order against him.
Oh, no.
So we got in pretty, not big trouble, but they ripped up our prisoner transport cards, and I was like, oh, my God, thank you for doing that, honestly, because I hate this job.
It turned out to be a good thing, then.
That sounds...
Yeah, no, it was a blessing in disguise, really.
Yeah.
Now, Trace Smith here, Sergeant Trace Smith, joined us on the Half-Assed Morning Show here on our little spotlight on the military segment. One of your other side jobs that I know Josh was very interested in, the television show Breaking Bad, you taught one of the actors to act like a Marine.
Yes, that's correct. Hank, Dean Norris from Breaking Bad came by, and he was with a couple of other TV actors. I don't really remember their names, but they wanted to see what it's like to be a Marine, because in the show that they were doing, they were Marine veterans. So they just wanted to talk with us firsthand and see what we're all about.
How did that come to be, and also how do you think he did?
I don't really know how that came to be. They must have got in touch with someone at Camp Pendleton, and they just said, yeah, come on by. And a couple of us, we hung out with them. We shot some 240s, a machine gun. We didn't actually shoot live rounds, but it was more like airsoft rounds, I guess you could say. And he's just Dean Norris was such a nice guy.
He seems like it.
Oh, yeah, he was awesome.
And did you see the final product? Did you watch the television show and see the fruits of your efforts?
Yeah, he didn't eat enough crayons for it to be legit, in my opinion.
He left that out?
Yeah, they must have cut that out, which is kind of disappointing, man.
Wapple pulled a clip from the show.
Oh. So who's your chief, little engine? What? What does that even mean? It means I think your story's bullshit. I think you know who Tuco Salamanca was. Tuco had a bullet in him when I got there, and I think you know something about that, too.
What are you saying? Like, I shot someone with, a gun?
No. Only shooting you do is into a Kleenex.
What? You know what else Wapple did? He forgot to bleep Bull S. That could have got us in a little bit of trouble.
Before we went live, you had to do that?
Caught that one.
Well, that's really interesting. I mean, did you think for a minute, when here you are teaching this Hollywood actor, to be more like a Marine, did you think for a minute that you might be the next R. Lee Ermey? I mean, R. Lee Ermey, I thought the beginnings of his acting career was advising on military this and that, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Did you think for a second? I mean, so these
Or
folks...
would you have any interest in that at all?
These folks have your phone number now, I bet. Maybe they'll get you again.
Well, I'm hoping to be discovered on the radio today, so if anyone's out there, hit me up.
Well, there you go.
No one's out there. Sorry, Trace, no one's out there. We found that out after about 30 years.
Well, that's really interesting to be hanging out with. And also, Trace, you assisted Border Patrol with drug intervention. What exactly were the details there?
Yeah, so we were stationed down at the border of Mexico, and I was in a FBI surveillance van, you could almost call it, and I just monitored cameras, and if someone was crossing the border, we would radio Border Patrol, and they would just go pick them up. And that was a really humbling experience for sure. A lot of good people coming across, and then obviously we caught a lot of bad people doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. So,
Man, what an interesting gig you've had over the years. Well, tell us what we have a little bit of time left. Tell us some more about yourself, what you like to do in your free time, things like that.
Well, I love to hang out with my two kids. I got two little girls that I love very much. I like to play video games. I love to drink beer. I'm a big beer drinker. So,
are you into military style games, or what do you like?
I like everything. I try to avoid the military stuff just because it's so cliche.
Really?
Yeah, I suppose when you've been there, you don't need to play the video game version of it.
Yeah, the pretend version.
Beer drinking and video games, huh? Beer drinking and video games.
I think people can get behind it.
If I could say one thing to any, teenagers out there, if you're looking to join the military, trust me, bro, it's just like Call of Duty.
I mean, obviously, Trace, you have a great sense of humor. I love this. I'm guessing your girlfriend was involved in sending us a picture of you.
Yep.
This is
it could be a recruitment picture, couldn't it? This is such a badass photo.
Yeah, that's a good photo. That was taken in Wisconsin, enemy territory.
That's exactly where I was going with this. You're fully camoed out. You've got your weapon. It looks like you got a fat chew in your mouth.
Oh, yeah, always.
Okay. And it says here, this photo is from deep within the jungles of Wisconsin. That's great stuff. Yep. We want to thank you also for being a longtime listener. Bailey tells us you're a longtime listener. We appreciate that.
Of course.
That means a lot to us, by damn it does. Well, there you go. Trace, thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we got a text from Barsaw Jesus who wants you to have a regular segment on the show. He said you're awesome. Here's another one. Yeah, the original Toolmaker Jesus said, this dude is awesome. He sounds humble and hilarious. Couldn't agree more.
Maybe you made your radio career happen right here and now like you wanted.
Finally, I've been waiting.
We've been waiting for you, Trace.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Have an awesome weekend. Yeah, thank you, Trace Smith, otherwise known as Overhand Bowling Jesus. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great weekend, and thanks again to Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch.
Ashley, tell people where you're going to be tonight.
I'm going to be at Onion Head's Revenge at the Mall of America. It's their new haunted attraction they opened up. Yep, I'll be there from 7 to 9.
I'm going to come see you.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Everybody else come see me, too. It's going to be a lot of fun.
7 to 9, Onion Head's Revenge, Mall of America. What floor is that?
Yes, sir. I believe it's on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Yes, it's by the Forever 21. I know that.
Well, here's the deal. If you've been listening all day, then you'll get this joke. Ashley, I hope your grandfather goes with you and he drops dead of a heart attack.
Yeah, just one big scare gets him.
Yep.
And no one will be laughing harder than Ashley if you were listening earlier. He gave birth to one of my parents. That wouldn't make sense. He sired one of my parents.
Sired.
Weak.
Burning Metal Jesus texts the Luther Bloomington Kia text line with a shout out to his beautiful wife. Sits on baby Jesus on their 2-year anniversary. Happy 18th anniversary to Jeff Sunday from Get Bent Jesus. Happy birthday to Ollie and Daniel. This text reads, happy birthday to my mama. We don't have names yet, and I'm not sure how to do that, this person said. Happy birthday to Miss Melissa Jesus from It Can Only Be Jared Jesus, and a great big birthday shout-out to Big Peen in Baldwin, Wisconsin Jesus.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.